It is about 10 minutes after 8. And I'm digging in my leather sewing kit here to get out what I need, because I need to do some sewing on the little beaver purse clutch that I have been making for a while now. And then I got sick and it had to take a back seat until I got better. I have been doing some hand sewing while I've had to sit still. Nothing to brag about. Mostly things that I'm working on as gift for people. Everybody's having babies. Does anybody else got a bunch of friends that's pregnant right now? Everybody's having babies. So I've done some hand sewing on just some baby shower gifts, and I got back in the hey Gypsy. I finally got back in the swing of things and made 2 dream catchers over the last few days. I've got them hung up. I'll have to put pictures on the community wall. I'm not done much there. I have been working on, if y'all don't know, JJ Lawhorn and Kelsey are pregnant again. They're having a little boy. And I made their little girl, Juniper Jane, I made her a baby blanket. And what you know, when people have more children, you can't just make one child a baby blanket and not the other children. That's rude. So I'm now making a baby blanket for the new baby, which she's fixing to pop any day, so I need to really hurry my butt up. I am so far behind. I'm looking for my snips. Be patient with me, y'all. I'm having to get caught back up and find everything again where I was down for so many days in a row. It's just when you're sick like that, and I had massive kidney issues. I had so much swelling from this flare. The doctors don't know really which came first, the kidney issue or the flare, but what they think is I had so much swelling from the flare that it overwhelmed my bladder and kidneys and set up infection. It kind of caused my interstitial cystitis to rear its ugly head, and my body was just like, yo, we can't handle all this fluid, and my kidneys just kind of went, peace out. And I was like, no, just hang with me here, Bubba, I need you. So I had a really rough couple weeks there with a lot of sickness, a lot of pain. Ended up passing some stones, and being really sick and needed to be in the hospital, but we don't have a local hospital. And my doctor was wonderful and helped me through everything at home and kept a very close eye on me. Of course, I have at-home nursing that also checks on me. So it was an event. We'll just say that. Hi, Pocahontas. It was an event. I'll show you what I'm working on in just a second. I'm trimming off some little, I've got to have to trim better, but I'm going to get the biggest of the strings off. So I've got this dog print fabric here. It's got like little hound dogs all over it, little retrievers and hound dogs all over it. And I got 1 yard because I'm going to put a border on it. And I have a friend that loves to embroider fabric napkins with dogs. Okay. So I've got all these different little dogs. I think I got all of them for like $13. She's amazing. She's bored like me. So I've got 6 different dogs. 5 different dogs, because I'm saving the corgi for my daughter because she has a corgi. So I've got 5 different dogs, and I'm going to applique stitch them onto this yard of dog fabric, which is just a bunch of different dogs. And then I made a embroidered, Mom did this on her machine. It says Daddy's Little Houndsman. Now this is for JJ Longhorn and his wife, and they're expecting a new little boy. So I made Juniper a quilt, so I'm making the baby boy a quilt. It's only fair. So I'm going to actually hand tack and do all of this one by hand. I'm not sending it to have Margie or Mom do it. Mom's actually fixing to have knee replacement surgery, so I'm not bothering my mother at all. I will actually be staying with her throughout the week after her surgeries for like a few days a week, to help her while she's in the first of her recovery. So probably be some farm videos coming next month when she has her surgery and I'm down there. So I'm trying to get everything done so that, I can take some stuff with me, but I can't take like all my leather crafting stuff. So I'm trying to get my big stuff done so I can take my little stuff with me to Mom's when I'm helping her after surgery. So I'm trying to get this done, doing it all by hand. So I've got this applique stitch on. I did fusible web underneath to thicken it up and attach it. And it says Daddy's Little Houndsman because his last album was The Houndsman. And so this is going to be down in the corner, like a little name tag down in the corner. And then the dogs are going to be slap stitched across the yard of fabric. And then I'm going to put probably a light sky blue border to match this around the edge and do a dark binding. And I'm just going to tack quilt it and hand stitch it because it's small and I can do that. It's not a big deal. I can do that sitting still even on my bad days, and it keeps my hands working because my hands actually really screwed up with me being down for a couple weeks with this last kidney issue. And it took me like forever to get my hands to I was stabbed myself, and I put like 3 thimbles on yesterday. I still stabbed myself. So it was just a free for all with my fingers, but I think this is going to be so cute. And I've got to get it to her because she's fixing to pop. But if I sit down and do it, I can do it in a couple days. So I just got to make myself shut up and sit down and do it. It's just harder than you may think because it's me. Okay. I went to the thrift shop a few weeks ago, probably about a month ago, and bought just a plain canvas print. It doesn't matter what the print is on it because we're going to paint over it. So I just got it was like a beach scene. It was really light colors, really easy to paint over. So I got just a stretched canvas. I think it was $2.50. Nothing. Don't you love my coming out of sickness who I'm about half dead hairdos? Don't you love it? But I got just a regular beach print canvas that anybody would buy and hang in their home, that just cheap art. And I bought it for like $2.50. Brought it home. I painted it black. I'm going to do another coat tomorrow just to make sure I've got everything covered. I want to do it with a paint where it looks like it's been hand painted. So you want to actually hand paint it with craft or acrylic paint so that it looks painted so that they can see brush strokes in their stuff. That's what gives it the integrity that people like these days. And what I'm going to do is I've got a fox squirrel hide. And then I found this little napkin print, this paper napkin that has foxes and squirrels on it. Fox squirrel, play on the words here. And so I think I'm going to cut them out and do like little Mod Podge botanicals on the canvas. And then I'm going to actually put the fox squirrel hide in the middle. And so it's going to be a fox squirrel with a fox and squirrel. So I'm looking forward to do this because I don't know how it's going to be received. And I want David to take it with him to his next vendor sale. And I want to see how people are going to respond to this. So that's kind of why I'm doing it, to pick people's brains and see how they respond. I've also been I've been using a lot of coyote ribs in my dream catchers lately and using them for feather angles. I'm at this point on this guy now. So he now has been painted gold, which I'm going to do some black stuff on him too. But he's got coyote, fox, and raccoon on him. I've got the first binding done with the beaver handle back here. I've got the first feather drops done. David is actually cutting me out deer antler rattles. Is that the right word for them? Anyway, you cut the points off the deer antlers, drill a hole through them so that I can hang them and they rattle. And he's going to be a purely outside rattle. He's not going to have anything inside that rattles because his skull was not in the best of shape, so I didn't want to do that. I am going to give him big gems for eyes eventually, big rocks. I have some agate, and I have some quartz, and I have some rose quartz, and I think I have some green marcasite as well. But I'm going to do some face painting on him to where he doesn't look so golden. And then we're going to hang the deer antler rattles from both ends. I've got to wrap on the way down here and do more feathered angles back here. And he will just be like a ceremonial stick or something to go with someone that's going into like a grass dancer class that needs an additional pretty. He won't be, he won't be anything super special. He'll just be kind of like a pretty ceremonial stick. So he's not going to be quote unquote a rattle, just a ceremonial stick. So I have been doing stuff. It's just I've been super slow, and a lot of the stuff I'm doing is like in stages. Y'all know I work on 50 things at once. Okay, this is my beaver bag. Okay. I love saying that. So I have this wonderful lady that makes bags professionally. She's 71, and before I got sick, I had gone to visit her twice, and she was allowing me to use her industrial sewing machine and help me mock out patterns and kind of get a grasp on making bags less rustic. Now, I like my rustic bags, but this one's not done, but he's in the mid stages. Okay, so we're gonna kind of finish in that flap. But this is his face. His face is a flap. He's gonna have a button, and I've already got it picked out. It's in here. I've got a magnetic button for him. Oh, I've lost it somewhere. Oh, that's lovely. No, I have to find it. Oh, it's in that box. Never mind. I know where it is. On the inside, he is just the hide. He has been pulled in and put rivets in the side so that he has this really pretty shape to him. Isn't that beautiful? Is a really pretty shape to him. Now, this is all one piece. This is all one piece that we have folded and created and cut to pull up and rivet and make into a purse. So what I've got to do is he's got like a leg hole somewhere I've got to stitch up that ran right here, that ran really close to a seam. I've got to stitch up so nobody will lose anything in the pocketbook. And I curled this down and did a seam so that it's got a finished edge. That's prettier. And I'm going to curl these under slightly and do a finished edge here. And then we'll put his, sew his clasp on. And then he's going to actually have a little lunchbox handle. And the lady that I've been visiting has actually made it. She knows how to do all this. She's teaching me how to do the leather handles. And it's going to have a little lunchbox handle that rivets in, and all the rivets are going to match. And then we may do a small shoulder strap. We're going to wait and see how the one handle works. I really like this guy. He's really soft and comfy. And he's going to be more of a new age pocketbook, that somebody could, be proud to carry. I would carry it in a heartbeat. It's actually very pretty. Carry it in a heartbeat. That somebody can carry, but still have a little bit of quirk, a little bit of edge, a little bit of a rustic appeal. And then I'm going to work on some that don't have a face on them, that are just the hides, and they will be adorable too. And then I'm also going to make just some, they call them possibilities bags, but they're just like powder bags for men, kind of in a messenger bag style. I've got a Cody pelt that I've cut today that I'm going to turn into a messenger bag with a face flap for a guy that wants one. He's a blacksmith and he wants one. And then I'm going to make a couple just for David to take with him. We're fixing to open the Etsy store back up. And it's going to have a couple of our new stuff on there, like a couple of the bags, 2 or 3 of the hats, the Cody hats and the coonskin hats. I'm trying to get a possum hat. I have a bobcat hat. Turned out adorable. Probably put the bobcat hat on Etsy. And we've been trying to learn how to do more hands-on, higher-end stuff. So it's very difficult for me because normally I have to punch when I leather sew. And so I have to hammer. I've got a big block of wood on my table. I have to hammer my punch and pre-hammer all my holes. And so it's a very tedious process. But it's what has to be done with these furs. And so sometimes by the time I've done a seam and then I finish the seam, I've sewed the seam 2 or 3 times. Nobody ever calls me until I get on the internet. That's hilarious. But it's just something that is, it takes time. And luckily, normally when I feel good, I have nothing but time. I've got glue hanging from me now. I've done so many crafts today. I've got hot glue hanging from me. So I just, when I'm healthy, I sit here and I do these things because, number one, I need to work my hands or they seize up like they did when I was sick last week. And number two, I get bored very easily and I have to entertain myself. So this is how I entertain myself. So anybody that was wondering what I'm doing right now, that's what I'm doing. I'm also, I've got this curled. I've had it tied in a pretzel knot, but I'm also making smaller. This is just as big as my face. Thank you. I'm also making smaller dream catchers for a different price point when David goes to these vendor sales, so that we can have something that is at a better price point for people that have kids and don't have, a lot of money to devote to one item to purchase. And we understand that. And lots of times if they have kids or they have kids that are wanting to buy something from us, then they're interested in what we're doing, we give them a discount anyway. But we want to have something that's a little more cost effective for the people that have kids or are trying to enjoy their day on a budget. So we're trying to find something kind of in the middle of between the furs and the keychain so that people can always find something to purchase. Now, like I said, this seam ran into a leg hole. You can see my finger right there. You see my finger right there? So what I'm going to do is, and the fur is very forgiving on these, so I'm just going to take that seam and pull it down a little bit more. And I'm going to go inside here and I'm going to sew that seam by hand. And buddy, y'all, it's tough. It's very difficult to do. Matter of fact, I'm going to turn this whole thing inside out. It's very difficult to do. And it can be quite the pain in the hind end. especially when I'm having a bad hand day. But it's also something that my doctor says keeps my arthritis at bay. So, hey, you do what you got to do. No, seriously, you could turn inside out easier than this, Bubba. You could help me out just a little bit. Anybody wondering? Yes, yesterday I did turn 45. I'm almost half a century old. I don't know how I feel about that. Hi, Libby Cats. Oh, we've got everybody in here. Michael me. Mischief me. I thought it said Michael. I'm blind. Mischief me. Like, you sound like you belong here because that's me. I'm feeling better. I'm starting to perk up. I still have to do everything in spurts so I don't overwhelm my system. I lost like 11 pounds of fluid in 6 days. That's how bad I was swollen during this attack. My doctor was like, whoa. And I was like, yeah, I know. Isn't that lovely? I looked like a marshmallow that had been put in the microwave for like 3 seconds and just puffed up. It was very sad. I looked really bad. Hi, Cindy. I was actually about day 6, I was kind of concerned because they were like, Elizabeth, you're going to have to go to the hospital. And I was like, oh, crap. I knew at that point, I was not doing well on my own. Okay, so we've got some spots where this little leg hole ran across the seam and created an issue. It didn't catch because the leg holes. So I've got a little tiny hole here and a big hole up here. I'm going to start with this little tiny hole. I've just turned him inside out. This is the tan skin side. And we made a little box side seam, so it's really easy to sew. It's just time consuming because it is hide. And anybody that has ever sewed hide knows exactly what I'm talking about. And I have a block of wood on my table, so I'm putting the end of my needle on a block of wood and punching it through both sides because I cheat. I do have thimbles for leather sewing, but right now I don't have a lot of the strength just to do it by hand, so I'm cheating and using this block of wood to help me. Oh, thank you, Denise. I'm glad to be back with you, and I was beginning to get worried how sick I was, but that's the first really bad sickness I've had. I had that infection over the winter, and that was one of those where did that come from issues too. But it seems like the physical therapy I did all winter long really has helped. And it's just about talking to my body and trying to stay aware. And what happened was I put on so much fluid, but I didn't know where the fluid was coming from. And we thought I was gaining weight. We thought it was muscle weight from the physical therapy. And I was like, it doesn't feel like muscle weight. I feel puffy. And by the time we realized what was going on, I was very dangerously swollen, and they were watching me very close. And my kidneys and bladder I have interstitial cystitis. That's a mouthful. And my kidneys and bladder were just like, lady, we give up. And my kidneys just did not want to function. They kind of got infected and shut down. And I was in a very bad place for a few days. And it was not fun. Now, this is not going to be the prettiest stitch work because obviously you're trying to cover up a hole and you have to take a wider seam allowance. And so it's going to show a little bit. It's not going to, you're not going to get any points for beautiful sewing on a hide. But we don't want anyone to lose their belongings when they carry this. Now, you could sew a liner and put in here. I choose to kind of let the people make their mind up about that. And so if somebody orders one and they specifically say, yes, I want a lining, I'm like, cool beans, I'll make you a lining and put in there. And I fabric glue it and then tack stitch it in there. But a lot of people would rather look at the rough edge of the hide. And I'm like, I understand. I prefer when I'm carrying a fur bag to simply see the rough side of the hide. And so I get that 110%. And so I don't always make liners because I don't necessarily care for them myself. So the Bobcat hat, I sewed completely 100% by hand. And it took me a few hours. So my back is still really sore when I sit here. Well, thank you. It's going to be super pretty when I get the handle on it. Yeah, I know, Libby Cats. My health is just... So you have to take a bigger seam allowance and catch those holes. So you can tell where I sewed that. But it's going to be on the inside of the bag. And most people understand it's a hide bag. And when you carry a hide bag, they're imperfect. But I think that's kind of why people are attracted to them, to be quite honest. So this one has got a really good leg hole right here where this seam went through. So I'm going to catch it on one side Then I'm actually going to manipulate the hide over my needle and catch it on the other side as well. So I've missed y'all, and I was so sick I just could not function. I was barely able to stay home and out of the hospital. And David was working, 6 and 7 days a week, and multiple hours over a week, and trying to then come home and help take care of me and help cook and help me do what I need to do to keep the house rolling. So we had a very weird last couple of weeks, and it was not pleasant, and I don't want to replay that anytime soon. So I'm hoping that my health will stay good for a while and give me a break. I had a couple of really good weeks there before I got sick, and a lot of it, my doctor believes, was that really horrible weather system that came through. Anybody else kind of understand how rare that weather system that kind of stalled over the Southeast and Midwest? It was like a once in 100-year pattern, and it was really strange, and it was really not good for people that have MS or diseases like MS. And my doctor was like, he's like, I am 100% sure. He's like, this is what's bothering you, because all the other patients with neuromuscular issues, he was like, y'all have overwhelmed my caseload this week. He's like, I've got like triple the patients I normally see. And he said, it's all because of this weather system. And so he knew that we were all having issues. So he was, ready to help. But he was concerned too, because he had not seen that many people, have the same issue at the same time. And apparently a lot of us were having that issue. So all I'm doing here is taking a larger seam around this leg hole to make sure that this hole is stitched up, so that when somebody has this bag, they're not going to spill any of their belongings. And everybody asks me, how do I take care of a fur bag? Well, you take care of it like you take care of anything else. You try not to sit it down in anything. And people say, what happens when I get it wet? Will it fall apart? No. That's where most of y'all have actually not been getting real leather and real fur. You've been getting faux. And faux stuff just simply melts when you get it wet. A fur bag like this, you can literally take in, if you get caught in a thunder shower outside, you can take it in, turn your hair dryer on and dry it. Treat it just like you would your hair, because it's hair. They will, if you take care of them and you don't subject them to horrible temperature changes or moisture changes, they will literally last you a lifetime. And they just require maybe a little bit of seam restitching from time to time or repair, but they'll last you a lifetime. They're like a really good pair of shoes or a really good leather jacket. They'll last you a lifetime. So I'm just reinforcing this corner, because that was one of the spots that was weakened by this leg hole. So I'm just reinforcing this corner really quickly. I'm in a thinner part of the skin, so I'm able to punch through without using the block of wood right now. So I'm just reinforcing this corner. And now I'm going to tie off on my first 2 loops here. This needle is so long, I can't barely drive this thing. Okay, I'm going to cut my needle off and tie my... It's like driving an extra long livestock trailer. It's like instead of a 3-horse slant, you got a 7-horse slant. You don't quite know what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to use my needle and loop that under one more time, because I like to overkill everything for safety. I don't want people to get a bag that I've made and have a problem with it. That's my nightmare. Even the coonskin hats, we always tell people where to find us online. And if a seam ever comes apart, I'm like, call me. I'll fix it, send it back to you. And they're like, really? And I'm like, yeah. I'm like, yes, really. Okay, so all I did was reinforce that seam. I'm going to check my others. And this is a garment quality beaver hide. You can see the rivets I put in here to pinch it so it has that pretty shape when we fold it. This is a garment quality beaver hide, so it's got a little bit more give. I actually, when I'm making the old style rustic messenger bags, I actually want a thicker, a harder, like I would rather have a pickle tan than a garment tan, because it helps the bag hold its shape. and it provides like an extra water barrier. You need to talk to me. Oh, Denise, yeah. Everybody keep Denise in your prayers. My mother's having surgery on the 17th, or around the 17th. She sees the surgeon again on the 6th, and they're going to schedule the pre-op and the surgery, and they told her it'd probably be sometime around the 17th. So that's a Saturday, but they said it'd be either the end of that week before or the start of the week next. And so we're just waiting for that too. So I'll be taking care of Mama and thinking about you. Okay, now that I've reinforced that, now if I want to, I can also add a rivet and a leather strap and do a shoulder strap, which we may do, but I really like the way that this looks. And with that little lunch pail handle up here, it's going to be like a mustard yellow leather sewed handle with them. It's going to rivet on, have a loop to where it comes up, a chain where it comes up. It's a little handle, chain down, and rivet into the leather. It's going to be very pretty. I'm tickled to death with this. And I may do just a little bit of finish work and curl these under just a little bit so we don't have a super rough edge. But I really like this. I may even do it like that to where it goes down like that. But I really like this. This is going to be very cute. I would totally pack this anywhere and smack anybody that told me anything about it. You know, people are like, that's not a renewable resource. Have you seen the beaver population in Tennessee? Oh, honey, I ain't making a dent. So we're good. I'm really tickled with this. This is probably my favorite thing that we're working on right now. And I think the first several I make, I'm not going to put liners in it just so people can open it up and see it was handmade. So I think I'm just going to let people be able to see the work. We could do that. She's got it. Of course, she does professional bag work, so she's got it already made to hook in and do the handle, and I've already okayed it. So she's got it sewed and ready. I've just got to get back to visit and get that. And I've just not been able. I've been so sick. I've not been able to take myself anywhere. But I think the next ones I'm actually going to sew into the sides and then do a D-ring to where you can then change the strap if people want to change the strap. So you'll be able to change your strap. And, you know, if you want to put a louder strap on it or a wacky, you know, you can have different straps and you can kind of make it match any outfit by changing out the straps. So, but I'm tickled with this. And it holds quite a bit. Like it holds like my big wallet. I've got a purselet that Gypsy got me for Christmas that fits in here. I can fit 2 of them in here or 4 of my little checkbook wallets. I had, when I was sewing it to get the right size, I put my wallet, my cell phone, and like a 20-ounce drink in there, and I was just trying to make sure it would hold, you know, pretty good. And I was like, that's good, that's the right size. And I just think this makes the cutest little like either handle or crossbody purse. And you know, people are gonna have to get over having this fear of using fur. You know, we have to keep these numbers in check in this area because the beaver population is actually harming our waterways and the watershed off the mountaintop. And it's hurting the rivers below. And so we have to trap these animals. They're so numerous and they populate so quickly. And so we have to trap these animals. And I'm not going to waste any part of them. That's not in my, you know, in my genes. So I'm a shoulder bag kind of gal too. Every once in a while I'll switch it up and I'll do a crossbody if I'm like on vacation or something. I want my purse close to me. So that's why I want people to be able to change the strap out. That's why I'm thinking about putting the D-rings and then putting a strap on it, but it'd be one that they can change out if they really want to. And so that they can personalize it when they get it if they want to. Jan is the lady that's teaching me this. She made me a shoulder bag with a little native squaw on the front. And it's beautiful. And I've packed it twice because I've only been out twice since she gave it to me. And I got the biggest kick out of how people responded. They loved it. And it's beautiful, and it's turquoise, and it's got dark colors with a bright turquoise. And she put really beautiful leather work on there, and it's gorgeous. And she's going to tell me all her secrets, and she's showed me so much already. And she's actually checked on me every day since I've been sick. And I have missed her because I got used to seeing her once a week. And, you know, she's only 23 minutes away, but that's a lifetime away when you're sick as I've been. And I'm not been able to drive myself or take myself. And and that matter of fact, they had to up my nurse visits the last couple of weeks because my blood work was so bad. It was bad. So I am excited to go back and visit and finish this bag and show her the patterns that I've mocked up while I've been home and having better days, but still not well, but having better days. I want to show her the patterns I've mocked up and the coyote bag that I'm going to finish. So I am doing stuff, but it's just been slow to get started. Very slow because I was so sick. On the plus side, David bought me those jumpsuit romper that like a flying squirrel that you could stretch out. They're like an overhaul, but it's like a romper overhaul that covers you, and you can wear them out, but I look at them like they're pajamas because I'm not going to wear that out in public. Well, I would wear it in my yard, but I'm not going to wear it to Walmart. They're so comfortable. And so the whole time, and I was so swollen internally, and everything was bruised. Even I bruised from the inside out. It was so strange. And I was so sore. I didn't want any waistbands or nothing touching me. I was so sore. And I put on those big rompers, and you could just literally tuck your arms down in and stay warm. That was the most comfortable thing when I was sick. And it was just like, thank God that I have these, because I do not know what I would have worn because my back and my belly was so swollen and sore. Denise, that's where I've been too. I have not had any energy. I've not felt well. I have had a really hard time with my lymphatic system keeping fluid off. And it hit almost immediately when that Death Ridge weather system stalled over us. And I'm hoping that was the culprit. My doctor thinks it might have been. I've just got to watch myself super close. I mean, when you have disorders and you have issues, you have health issues, it's just like you don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg, when you get sick. And I'm terrified to be that sick again anytime in the near future. So I'm going to have to really pace myself and be careful. It was not good. It was not fun. David was scared. I still look like crap out of my eyes. Like, I have on no makeup. Y'all always get the raw me, but I was sick. So, but I'm pulling out of it now, and I'm starting to get my spunk back, and I'm wanting to do stuff. So, I have another horn too, and I'm going to make another rattle. So I've got stuff going. Oh, and I painted the rattlestick. Painted a big rattlestick, or I'm going to put a beaver skull on this and turn the beaver skull into a rattle. I'm not sure yet, but I put the color wheel patterns on it, the medicine wheel. So I'm going to make one giant rattle, and then I'm going to make like two small ones. I've got one big skull I'm going to turn into a rattle, a beaver skull. And then I've got a horn. I've got one other horn that Dad, when he polled his cattle, kept for me, and I've had it drying out forever. It's about ready to finish. I'm going to make it into a rattle. And then I'm going to try to get through that. I lost about 14 in the last 3 months, but then I gained like 11 back, and they were like, why are you gaining weight? Why are you getting? Well, it must be muscle. You're doing so much physical therapy. No, it wasn't muscle. It was all fluid, because then I lost it as soon as I got sick. As soon as I got to the point where like I just swelled up and I was like, what is going on? As soon as I got sick, and when they got the right antibiotics in to kind of help my body take control of whatever was going on, as soon as my body started deflating, all the fluid came off in like 5 days, 6 days, and I weighed 11 pounds less. Probably a little more than that, because I had on like a hoodie and boots when I was at the doctor because I was cold. Yeah, Denise, we'll be keeping you in our thoughts and prayers. You have my cell phone number, so you can update me as you need to as well. Let me know how you're doing. It's getting harder and harder to stay healthy. And it's not anything I'm doing. I think it's just, well, I mean, you look at everything that's happened in our society in the last several months. I think it's just crap. I think that our nation has had a lot of issues. We've had a lot of things thrust upon our immune systems in the last few years. Oh, you can always text me, Denise. Me or David, one will respond. You don't ever worry about that. But, we've had a lot of stuff thrust upon our immune systems in the last few years. A lot of changes to immune systems and what immune systems are used to fighting and what new things are popping up. A lot more people are. There's like an uptick, 30-something% an uptick in seizures, heart issues, um, any kind of thrombus related. There's like a 30% uptick. And you got to look at all these chemical spills and burns, and you've got to wonder, what is the cost? I think the cost is people's health. And then you've got to look at what our nation allows in its food supply that other nations don't. Like if you look what the U.S. allows in its food versus what Europe and France and stuff allows in their food, completely different set of rules. And I think we're showing the ramifications of that. There's a lot of stuff that America could do better, and we're not doing it. And now we've had this huge immigration over the last few years, which has brought some medical issues, viral issues, and concerns that America used to not have to be concerned about, brought it back. And so we've got a lot on our immune systems and our health in this nation that we've not had to bear the brunt of in so many years, and now it's like all hitting us at once, and we're not. I watch the numbers on Johns Hopkins, and you can see we're not doing well. And then you take someone that's got an autoimmune issue or has an immune issue from health bobbles and everything that I've been through, and it's triply hard to stay healthy. Plus, it seems like the insurances don't care anymore. They don't want to approve things. They don't want to take care of you. They don't want to do preventative medicine. They want to do symptomatic medicine. Well, I'm sorry, preventative medicine is way better than symptomatic medicine. So it's just like, we're looking at everything from a financial component in this nation instead of from a humanitarian component, and we're not caring about our people. Oh, Denise, I believe it. There's a lot of people having those issues. And if it didn't come from that itself, it came from that people got. So it's like, you're screwed either way. And actually the numbers are higher for, than the actual virus. And so Johns Hopkins was like, there's more people sick because of the pokey poke than because of the virus itself. Hi, Fang. So it's just been a very big upset the last few weeks because of my health and everything. David has got the garden out, and bless his heart, somehow he's got the yard mowed and worked all his hours and took care of me and had to take me to the doctor. Kim took me to the doctor once. I could not barely walk, let alone drive myself. So if I had to go in for like massive blood work, they would take me. Otherwise, my nurse would do stuff when she was here. And I was just very sick. Very, very sick. Very sick. It was not a pleasant experience, and I don't want to be there again. And I feel like I have no control because I thought I was doing great. I was taking good care of myself. Thought I was actually in a happy spot, and something just got me. And I don't know if I got a stomach virus and that's what started everything, or if I just wore myself down to where my body couldn't fight off normal infections, and it just exacerbated it because of my condition. I don't know if the RSD made the swelling worse, which is why I had so much fluid on. I don't know. My doctor's scratching his head too. He's like, you were fine one day and then boom. And I was like, I know. That's how this stupid disorder works. And I struggle to wrap my head around it sometimes. Still, a lot of people are. Did you hear about the 18-year-old that passed away shortly after her dose? They who did a Viva Fry did an interview with the parents. Very sad story. Very sad story. Completely healthy young woman, fixing to go to college, travel, do some stuff, and that is still intertwined. I don't know why. We already know it's not good juju. Why are we still demanding this for people? Because we don't care. But it was going to be necessary, so she thought about long and hard, so I'm going to have to get it. And then 30 days later, and it's so sad because she was not unhealthy. She was a prime specimen of a young, healthy woman. And now we're seeing birth rates are successful. Live births are down, stillbirths are up, miscarriages are up. This is going to have a huge impact on the reproductive scale of America. Well, of the world, basically, but America specifically. And we have just weakened our whole nation's immune system, weakened our reproductive cycle, weakened our bodies. and we're going to have to pay attention and take very good care of ourselves. Well, Denise, I'll be praying for that too, because you deserve that. Fang, I wish people would open their eyes. It's not hard to see. Once you see the first chink in the armor, you start to see daylight through all the holes. And I had not. There's some people that I used to like to watch. Like, I used to like to watch that Stephen Hilton when he would do like musical funnies and stuff. I didn't really care for him per se. I thought he was a kind guy, but I didn't care for his views, but I liked his musical talent. And so every once in a while I would check in his videos to see if he was doing like a music funny, because he kind of cracks me up. I can find something to like about everybody. Even if I don't agree with everything you do, I'm going to find something to like about you. So I liked his musicality, and I would watch his videos. And then it got when he and Laura were separating, that Laura Clary, and she's very, very left. Like she's spinning left, going in circles. And they have an autistic child, and he's autistic, and and they were just going off on some tangents, and they were very scared, and just kind of created more anxiety for people that were watching than was necessary. And I was like, dude, I can't support this. I'm gone. I just hadn't watched him in, gosh, a year or more. And while I was sick, I was like, what's he up to? Just, because you're laying there sick for, 14 days. Might as well, think. And I was like, I'm going to check on him. So I punched in YouTube, and I punched in Stephen Hilton. I went, well, he's had a huge awakening to the point where he's gotten canceled, getting attacked, getting stalked, getting threatened, and it's like, that's so sad that someone can just make an informative decision to be more aware and understand things that they hadn't, seen prior in life. And it affects no one but them personally and their decision-making skills, but everyone else wants to attack them for it. And it's just like, am I still in America? Is that where I am, Lord? But he's had a huge awakening. And so I've started watching him again, because it's nice to watch someone go through the process and be like, oh my God. And I was such a hateful, nasty person. I'm so sorry, and they start apologizing for, and they realize what they were roped into and their behavior. And I'm like, yeah, you're nice. Denise, that's how I was. I'd been in my one job a decade and had done the other job before that for several years, and was just hitting my stride professionally when I started having issues. And let me tell you what, when my performance, which was stellar, I was doing like 4 times the work other officers were doing. As soon as it slipped, even though I was still above what a single officer was doing, because my performance at my stellar level slipped, they became agitated. And I was still doing way more work than just one officer should do, but they became agitated because I was not the star pupil anymore. I was like, listen, I'm struggling. I'm trying. I'm still doing my caseload plus, so you can't fuss with me. I'm still doing 5 counties and about 2.5 caseloads between everything I'm doing and teaching classes and doing this. I taught cognitive behavioral therapy for years. And I said, I don't know why y'all are getting so frustrated. I'm just acting like the rest of your employees. Well, you used to function well under stress and do all this, and now we can't hardly depend on you. Excuse me, I'm functioning still above the threshold of 90% of your employees, so shut your mouth. It's like, look at my stats on Thomas. I'm good. And so I sassed them back, but what they didn't know, and because the doctors couldn't find what, they didn't know what to diagnose me with, because they were struggling, because I didn't have any well-researched or educated doctors in this area, they thought I had MS for a long time. And had I had MS, they probably would have worked with me, and they would have kept me on in some capacity. But because I had a very rare, unknown, not well-researched disorder that nobody knows how to deal with, they saw me as a liability, which is what they told me, and they fired me. As soon as I got diagnosed, they were like, you're gone. We want you out. We're pushing you out. And I was like, but if I'd had MS, they would have been like, oh, bless your heart, we're going to work with you. It's the same thing. It's just more aggressive. But they would not work with me. So I'm not very pleasant to those old managers when I see them now. I just kind of give them a stink eye, and they will actually cross the street to walk on the other sidewalk when they see me. Give me space. I'm very nice until I'm not. I tell y'all that all the time. No one has ever really seen me pull a really bad mood. So, hey, Daniel. Hey, did you go to that big concert the other night with that guy Saturday night that was down in Birdtown? Was it in Birdtown? Was it in Luton? I can't remember where it was. It was down there somewhere. Did you see the Ditch Diggers? Because that's my bonus baby, Jonah, singing for the Ditch Diggers. Daniel, you gotta see him next time they go out. I was wondering if you went to that. Oh yeah, Fang. People are struggling to find anything to be positive about, and I can sit down and be thankful and be blessed and understand I'm still doing so much better than most people, and I have a peace within me that nobody else can seem to understand. And I feel sad for them that they can't understand it, but at the same time, it's like, what are you focusing on? I get frustrated. I got frustrated with the insurance company the other day, but then I sit back and I go, and somebody somewhere would want my life because I have less frustrations and concerns and sadness than them, so I need to shut up. But I'm very much a bull in a china shop. If I see a problem, I will attack it and go, fix it. But at the end of the day, I have a simple life, and I want to keep it that way. That's where my happiness is my simplicity. Oh, you didn't make it? Okay, if they do another one down your way, I will let you know. And you can actually follow them on Instagram, too, or Facebook. They have Ditch Diggers, a couple of social media pages. He's doing really well. I'm tickled with him. His voice is doing awesome. He's growing, and Jonah's doing awesome. Jonah is now singing for a band called the Ditch Diggers, and he's totally assumed lead singer role, the persona, and of course it leaves as soon as he actually picked up my chiller last week and fixed it and brought it back to me. My bonus kids. I love my bonus kids. I had parolees send me happy birthday messages and happy Mother's Day messages because of the guidance I've given them. Like, they will find me and send me messages. And I got all my bonus kids sent me happy Mother's Day messages. I'm blessed. Like, I have, even David gets so frustrated because he works and works and works, and we never get ahead because of, the insurance bills and medical issues. And it's just, you feel like a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest half the time. And you just can't get ahead. But at least, I'm not been in the hospital in 2 years. I've somehow managed, even with the sick as I've been, I've managed to not get in the hospital in 2 years and manage everything at home. And even though I've had to pay for health insurance through Aetna, they've been wonderful to me and given me wonderful care and helped me out a lot from where I was. And I don't mind to pay for things. I mind it when a hospital bills you 100 times what they should bill you. Oh, and let me tell you where we are in All David's hospital from his kidney extravaganza, the stone making, the Gravel Pits RS club he joined. I'm getting all of those bills together and going through a credit management agency so they can barter and get it down and get the interest pulled and just pay off a minimum amount, because I know, and I've confronted the hospital about the max capacity billing they did, and they have backed up a lot, because when he went to the other hospital for the other kidney stones, our bill was $600, whereas it was $6,500 at that hospital. And it was the first ER trip. The hadn't met his deductible. It was the same parameters, and we got an itemized statement from each. And the good hospital cost us like $289 to IV push a med. They cost us $300 to IV push a med. Then you had to pay for the med. It was just astronomical. The CT scan down there was like $8,000. The CT scan up here was $1,200. And you can't justify that. So I actually told them, I'm not paying you anymore. If you want to take me to court, take me to court. I'm going to be going through a credit agency, and they're going to be bartering with you to bring this down, lock it in, and pay it off within so many months, because I know y'all overbilled, and I know if I take you to court, I'll probably win, and we can either go to court or you can work with this management agency. And they were like, we'll work with the agency. And I was like, I knew you'd say that. They know if we go to court that they're going to get caught in what they were doing, because they actually max capacity billed everyone they saw the last 7 months of that year, because Tennessee was going to in-state in January 2022, the No Surprise Act and the No Max Billing Act. And so they reamed everybody they saw for the last half of that year before that kicked in, because they wanted to make money. And I have no problem calling people out for that crap. It ain't right. So David made some changes to his insurance this year when they opened it up the other month, just not too long ago. And he made some changes so that he can have a sleep study and update his sleep CPAP machine and stuff without breaking the bank. It costs more, but it's going to have to happen because he needs that updated. But we're going through a credit management agency to take care of those medical bills. I think it's like, honestly, they don't charge you a percentage of what they save you. They actually just charge you a fee, a monthly fee to handle it. And I can have these paid off in literally a quarter of the time that and at a much reduced rate when we shrink the bills down and they talk to them than what I'm paying now. So it's a win-win for me. Now, I can continue to fuss with them and do it on my own, but they don't think they have to listen to me. So I'm going to actually just pass it off to someone that does this professionally and let them take care of it. And I've done this once before for a medical bill back when I had to have my tubal ligation, and that was a fun time. And we paid it off that way. That was pre-David. That was my first marriage before it bombed. And I went through that to take care of that health bill because that hospital also wanted to ream me and bill me so inappropriately. And literally they took it down to, I think it was a third or a quarter of what the original bill was. And it's just stuff that they know that they can look at and say, you can't bill for that, you can't bill for that, and that. You had no right to bill to do that test, kick that out. And they just know how to talk to these people. So I'm going to let them handle it for David, and we'll pay whatever they say we're due. But we can't handle 4 or 5 medical payments a month. We need to all wad them into one. And that's what this agency does. And once they take over those bills, the people have to call them. They can't call me. And so I don't have to deal with people because I'm not the nicest when you call and ask me for money. So it's just a win-win situation. Yeah, kick the stress off. And me and David we planted the garden. Well, David planted the garden. He did it all on his own, bless his heart, because I was sick. I did get my seeds out, my flower seeds out, and they're growing great. Got my obelisk replanted. He's got the barn lot cleaned up. He's been and we're fixing to have the house stained. It's got to be restained. We've got a guy that paints, and he's willing to do the labor. And he's wanted a bunch of David's furs and like beaver hoops and stuff for a long time. He just couldn't afford them. And he said, I'll stay in your home. You can pay me in like beaver hoops and furs. And I was like, cool beans. Works for me. And all I go do is buy the stain. And he's a sweet little old man. And every time I make David a cobbler, I make him a cobbler. So I know him well. And he has a painting business. And so we're going to let him stain the house. And all we're going to be out is some of our made items and stain. So, and it's redwood because it's got to pop against the pine trees. So everything's going to be bright red again. I'm excited to get it restained. So we've done a lot this spring, more than we have done in many springs. And yeah, I'm not super helpful, but it's been nice to do stuff. Leva cats, I'm hearing a lot of people about that. And I'm also looking at research data that's showing people that the more doses that they had, they're also showing the same types of injuries and health issues. So it's like it didn't matter what you got, you were screwed either way. I decided to place my bet with Mother Nature and be like, if you screw me over, at least it's Mother Nature screwing me over. I can't kick Mother Nature's butt, but if it's a human being, I'm going to wonder where the motive was. So I'm going to go with Mother Nature because then I can't blame anybody. I can't fault anybody. And it's on me. And I'm so glad I did that because I knew with the spike proteins and all that stuff, it would probably kill me if I attempted that. And I was like, nope, not going to, nope. I had way too many reservations and questions. And I'm sorry, but coming from a farm where you vaccinate every animal and you know the reasons and how it works and how things are, nothing made sense from day one for me. So I was like, nope, not playing this game. I'll play with Mother Nature. I will put my faith in God and Mother Nature, and that's where I'm going. And I think that was probably the best thing for me. Oh, really? Mises showed up. Oh, really? I wish that was a fun evening. Daniel, you take care of yourself. I'll let you know when I see him scheduled somewhere else. My cheeks. You should have seen how swollen my face was a couple weeks ago. My eyes completely disappeared. They were gone. It was bad. I'm still a little puffy right through here, but oh my gosh, and once I get all the fluid off of me, I probably will have lost a few pounds, but it's just like I was so swollen. It was bad. I was so swollen. So I still have my designated naps because I'm still struggling, but I'm much better, and I know I'm over the hill. I've just got to keep my body going the right direction and not overdo it to where it wants to go backwards. So I have made a couple of dream catchers. A lady wanted one for her room and one for her vehicle, so I had to make one that was tiny and pretty on both sides. That was a struggle. But she wanted it's a white weave, and at the bottom on the front it's got a coyote vertebrae and all the peacock feathers come out of. It's so pretty. And then it's got rib dangles on each side, and she wanted rabbit fur. It's got rabbit fur wrap on the top and on the fur dangles, on the feather dangles, and it's just beautiful. It's got green marcasite on it, and I also put her a local sandstone. I wrapped it in fur and put it on there. And it's a guy. We have this little man in our community that will put sandstones, put stones from the creeks and stuff in his pockets, take them to church. And after they've gone to church with him so many times, he writes Jesus on them. We call him the Jesus rock guy. If I'm lying, I'm dying. And so he gives his rocks away, and everybody, it's a big deal. You get a Jesus rock. Well, he's not doing it as often anymore, so the Jesus rocks are kind of rare now. And he's like, we adore him. He's not quite right, but we love him anyway. And he's just a sweet soul. And so I took one of his Jesus rocks, wrapped it in fur, and put it in there. And so I put as much good juju vibes in it as I could. Bye, Daniel. You take care of yourself. So I made those for her. I put duck feathers on one. I put peacock feathers on the other. She wanted peacock feathers on the big one. It was very pretty. Bye, Daniel. And I put the little duck feathers on her tiny one, so it was to scale. It looks like one shrunk. It's so adorable. I'll post pictures in the community page later. I haven't really taken any good pictures yet. I took some to show her, but they're not the best. I'm excited about my canvas. I will definitely share pictures when I get that one done. And I bought a frame finally for my springbok hide, so I've got to get that done for me. It's going in my guest room. So I'm going to get that done for me. Lots of times I make everything and then it leaves my house and I'm like, shoot, I didn't keep one of those for me. So I'm making sure that when I do something I like, to make sure I keep one for me, or I make one for my home. I think David's next vendor sale is June the 17th. I will make sure y'all know correctly before then, but I think it's the 17th at True West, which is in Big South Fork. And then I think the next ones are down in Overton County, over the hill at Pioneer Days and like big events, like big regional events. So he's excited about those. They actually begged him to come to Pioneer Days. They're like, we've been trying to find you for 2 years. People keep saying they see you, but they don't know who you are. And they caught him last year at the Little Red Apple Orchard in October, and they got cards, and they literally started begging him. And so he had to put in time off for this. As soon as they scheduled the date, he put in time off for it. And I can't remember the date of it. I'll let you know. But it's Pioneer Days in Overton County. So it'd be probably a good place for Daniel to come see me too, because I'll be closer to him then. But we're doing good. It's just been the last 2 weeks. Well, last 3 weeks have been a big, weird sickness event where I was like on the precipice of hospitalization for like 9 days. And I'm better now. I'm unswollen. My lymph system is still purging. I can still feel it purging, but I'm feeling much better, looking much better, doing much better. I've only got another day and a half of antibiotics, and then and it's been a whopper of an antibiotic. It has probably been the biggest struggle of all of this. And then I should be back on my own. David said if I stay good next weekend, he took Friday off because he has PTO time. If he doesn't take it, he loses it. So he's got to take it as he can. And now since they've got people trained in, he can actually take some time. So he took next Friday off, and he said if I felt good next Friday, he's got the pool drained, but he's just got to get in there and scrub it and vacuum it and then refill it. It's honestly, by the time you shock it, vacuum it, and spend the time in it, it's almost just as cheap for us to drain it, scrub it, and refill it. And so for the last several months, I've paid like $10 extra a month on my water bill to bank money to fill my pool. And once I get the pool filled, it heats up, I'll be able to do a lot more of my exercises and stuff in there. And I normally perk up when I get pool time, because it takes a lot of the stress on my joints off and it relaxes my muscles. The only sad thing is I can only be in the pool when there's somebody here, so I have to swim either really early or really late. And in the hot summer days, when the pool at night feels like soup, when David comes in at 11:30 midnight, hey, I've got lights all over my yard, and you can see wherever you're going. And I've got lights that go in the pool, like, you know, the hillbilly redneck lights that affix to the pool and make the pool glow. I will get in my pool at midnight and swim. Like, he'll come home and I'm ready to go. I've got my bathing suit and towel. I'm ready to go to the pool. And I'll get like a 30-minute swim in then. And so the summer, he's not one to swim. He doesn't know how to swim, but he will get in the pool with me if I beg him. But he's gotten used to now coming in from the factory, you know, and it's hot. It's like 108 in the factory in the summertime. And he'll come home and he'll get in the pool too. And so we've just gotten used to that in the summer months. And I sleep better when I allow my muscles to relax like that. Yeah, it's very nice. It's very nice. And you're just out there listening to the frogs and the bugs. And, you know, every once in a while you'll hear a coyote run through, you know, but it's, you know, we're safe. So it's, you know, and it's just very nice laying under the stars in your pool. And when we're dark enough here that we can actually see the stars. So you can lay in your pool and look at the stars and stretch it. It allows my muscles that second time in the day to relax and stretch and get some relief and kind of unkink before I go to bed, and then I rest better. So that's why I get so much easier in the summer months, is I have so many more options to help my body out. So I'm looking forward to that. We've just been a little late on the pool because I got sick. If we hadn't been sick, we would already had it filled up and warming, but I got sick. And it's in full sun, so it stays warm. I don't really have to worry about it. Yeah, I enjoy my pool. I really do. And if David's ever home, like on the weekends where he has a day off, I'm in it all off and on all day long because I really want to use it as much as I can. I've got it to where I can maintain it for about $22 a month, about around through there. And so it pays for itself, because if I were to go swimming, I have to drive to Bandy Creek or to Laurel Creek, which is like $7 in gas, plus $3 to $7 to get into the pool. So it, you know, one trip to the pool would cost me $15. So I'm saving money that way. Now, this pool probably only has one this last summer left in it. It's getting kind of old. And the next one, I'm going to buy a shorter one so he won't worry. But we had deeper ones because the kids like to get in and play in it. And now that the kids are gone, I can get a shorter one and not have to have such a hassle getting in and out on my rougher days. And it's kind of like getting on a horse, getting off. I still have the muscle memory to do it, but on bad days, David worries about me. And so we're going to get a shorter one. And I just need enough to where I can get on my float and do my exercises and stretch out and stretch my muscles. And then I like to walk circles to use my muscles. Yeah, our temperatures are holding at like 76 to 78 during the day, but it's still getting down to 50. Like, it's going to be 50 at night tonight, and it's going to be 48 tomorrow night. And that's really strange for this time of year, because normally it's warmer in the evenings. It's already starting to get warm in the evenings at about this time of year. Normally by June, we're looking like, you know, in the 60s at least at night. And we're getting down to 48 tomorrow night here. And I'm like, daggum. So we've had to run an air conditioner a couple times during the day and stuff. But at night, it's been cold enough. We just open the windows and turn on a fan. It's been chilly here. So it's been a very strange weather pattern. Very strange. I don't know what's going on, but it's been a very strange weather pattern. So, but once that one system rolled out, I felt immediate relief. But I had so much fluid on my body, my system just kind of crapped out. And my kidneys and bladder could not, and my lymphatic system couldn't get it out of me. I wish we had something like that. The closest indoor pool is either Cookeville or Albany, Kentucky. And that's drive. And when you have my issues, that's a big drive. So, we don't have a YMCA. We don't have any indoor pools here. I think there's only one. No, there's two private, like, people that put indoor pools in, but they're ritzy, snooty people, and I ain't about to ask to use their pool. So I don't get a lot of relief during the winter. I wish I had a hot tub, but might as well wish for a size 2 waist while I'm at it, because it ain't gonna happen. Them suckers are expensive. Even if you buy a secondhand one and ask your little savant child to fix it, it's still expensive, and they're, prone to breakdown. And then if we don't have it enclosed, y'all hear Oscar drinking and eating his dinner. He's so rude. If you don't have it enclosed, we'll end up with a blackberry in it in the middle of the winter. So it's just like, what's the point? But David has said if we get to a place where he can pour a pad and make like a gazebo, he's like, I will get you a hot tub. He's like, if I have to get a Coleman, air one, he's like, I'll get you a hot tub. But he's like, I have to be able to have it enclosed because we'll have a blackberry in the middle of December if we get one. Yeah, my bones, I have a lot of bone pain in the winter. I do not do well with winter. I don't do well cold. It hurts me. I feel last week, because I couldn't stay warm enough because my body was sick, I felt like somebody had pulled my toes, broke them, and just left them dangle. And it hurt me. My toes, like I had massive kidney issues. But if you asked me what was hurting, I would have said my toes because they hurt so bad. And my nurse got tickled at me. We've become quite good friends, and she got really tickled at me. She's like, your kidneys are trying to shut down, and you're worried about your toes. And I'm like, yes. And my thumb that keeps going in and out of socket, it hurts. Like there's something wrong in here. I can tell it now. It's ached with my toes. And I'm like, okay, as soon as I get better, we got to check out my thumb because something's not right. It's not hinging right anymore. And when I use it in certain ways, it hurts. So I think I've either cracked something or it's not quite in socket right. Which it may not. Look, it's a little puffy right there. It may not be in the socket quite right. I have like Ehlers-Danlos issues too. So, Chocolate fudge cookies. Well, Maddie needs to come visit me. I somehow have cooked the last several days, and I don't know how, but I have. And I've had to cook some of it seated on my little cart, but I've cooked. So I've done, I've kept David fed, and he a couple of days he had to fend for himself, but I would prop up and cook, but then I'd have to go right back to bed. But there are at least 4 days that I was not. There are 4 days that blend together that I can't really remember one from the other. And then I kind of remember. I remember getting worse, and then I remember getting better. But those 4 days that I was really, really bad, I don't remember a whole lot. And it was I was just exhausted, but I couldn't rest because I was hurting so bad. It was just a horrible, and honestly, in the back of my head, I was like, oh, you need to be in the hospital. I hate the hospital with passion. And I was just like, try for 12 more hours at home. See how you are in 12 more hours. And I kept getting myself 12 more hours, and then eventually I was starting to feel better. Yeah, now during the winter, my bones will feel like they're being vacuum sealed inward, like they're going to crack and implode. And it's a very prominent pain. I love to bake. That was my thing. I love to make the old-timey peanut butter pies, like the Amish peanut butter pies and stuff like that, and breads. And I was a baker, and I can't do a lot of it anymore. And if I feel good and I have a good health spell, I will cook because I love to cook. I love to bake, and I love to make cobblers and cakes and 3 milk cakes, tres leches, 3 milk cakes. And I like to make homemade toppings and stuff like that, homemade icings and stuff. And I can't anymore because it's too much standing and especially pressure on my pelvis and my hips. And I miss that because I used to love to bake. And still, if like one of my bonus kids went to a bake sale like 3 years ago and begged me to make 2 of my peanut butter pies because that's what I was known for. And I made 2 peanut butter pies for her, and it liked to kill me, but I made 2. And literally, they got into a bidding war over them because they were like, are those Elizabeth's peanut butter pies? So, I don't have a huge sweet tooth, but when I want something sweet, I want it right now. And if I only keep stuff that I bake in the house, then I'm less likely to eat sweet stuff because I have to really want it to bake it with my health right now. So, but I wanted to pop on and show you where I'm at with the crafts. I have been moving forward. And I have got a lot of new gemstones in. I've got green marcasite. I've got some turquoise, some chipped turquoise, and I got some Indian agate. And so I got some new feathers. I actually got some really pretty duck feathers dyed green to go with the Indian agate. And over the next couple of days, I've got to finish putting Kim's birthday present, which is super. I got these green dyed feathers. And all they are chicken feathers that this place dyes. And I got these to match the green marcasite, and I have a green thread. I'm going to make a emerald green dream catcher. But I've got to put Kim's birthday present together. I finally got all the pieces in that I ordered, and now I've got to assemble it. It's going to be weird. It's going to be creepy, but it's going to be great. And y'all are going to love it. And she's going to flip out at it. I just got to get it done. You'll wrestle me for it. Oh, well, tell her congratulations. She's just thriving, isn't she? I'm glad to hear that. That's a rough time in life, that. And honestly, from 14 to 24, it's just you change so much every day, and the things that you learn and things you're going through and the knowledge that you have to absorb daily and the chemicals and hormones, and it's just you change so much. And for her to be able to go through that, and she was having sleep issues, and for her to get that under control and thrive, that's great. Sleep is a big deal. Like when I was sick, and it's like my doctor's like, what's the matter? And I was like, I think the biggest issue is I can't rest because I feel so bad and I'm so swollen and miserable. I said, I can't rest. I said, I think if I could rest, I would heal. But I said, I can't rest, and I got to rest to heal, but I can't rest. And he was like, so we're going to get through this, Elizabeth. And I was like, it was rough there for a few days. It was rough. Yeah. When I'm in bed a lot, it really frustrates me because I'm a go, go, go kind of person. And my life completely changed when I had to retire after all those hospitalizations, and they kind of forced me to retire. It was a big change, and I didn't like it. Yeah, you told me that, Denise. That's awesome. That's a great way to save money too. Dual credit classes. They started that like the year before I graduated, and they still really hadn't got it solidified. And I was not going to go to the school that was offering them, and I didn't want to worry about the transfer and not. And it was just a mess, and they hadn't got it kind of streamlined at that time. And I didn't take them my senior year. I had to go to my senior year because I only had one credit left, and they kept a credit hanging on me to do senior year. It was American history. They wouldn't let me take it till my senior year because my mom started me a year early, but I got done with everything my junior year. And had they let me take American history my junior year, I could have graduated early. But because I was started a year early, that would have put me 2 years early graduating. And they were like, no, we won't do that. So I went for my whole senior year for one class basically, and had to put electives and all the others. But that's okay because Coach Warren, he was an Algonquin Indian. I loved him. I miss him so much. Like he was just walking knowledge. Just follow him and just soak up all the knowledge. And so I took like every elective that was like wildlife management, waterfowl management. I took every elective, beef cattle production that I could take that was ag-related, because originally I was going to go into veterinary science like my daughter ended up doing. And when I got married, I was promptly told that no veterinarian would give me my internship because I was married. That's changed a little bit now, but it's still really rough. And so I switched roles. And people are like, how did you go from animal science to psychology? Well, it's not really a big chasm, actually, because what you learn in animal science and animal husbandry and livestock production and veterinary science, you learn a lot about behavior. You learn a lot about their systems, bone structures, how they grow, reproduction cycles, how the behavior changes during all those growth spurts, and how to productively manage multiple species on a farm together. And you switch to psychology, it's basically how to productively manage a lot of different humans on the earth together. And you're still looking at the same thing: chemicals, hormones, behavior. You're looking at husbandry and how that augments the behavior. And I mean, it's a lot of the similar things. It really is. People don't believe that, and they're like, did you take Latin? Took veterinary medicine. I know a lot of Latin, but Latin is basically the same in skeletal systems. It was just kind of changed slightly between species. And so I know a lot of Latin because of what I learned in veterinary school. So I would have graduated high school a year early, which would have put me graduating 2 years early, because Mama started me a year early, and they wouldn't let me do it. So I sat there and took all the electives. But I really enjoyed my senior year because I had an awesome GPA. And it's because I had all classes I loved and were easy for me. And I got to spend a lot of time with Coach Warren. And I didn't know it then, but 3 years later, his cancer spread and he passed away. And now I look back at that and I'm like, I'm so glad I got that time with him, and I got to know him because he was such a wonderful man. And I look back on it now and I'm like, I was lucky to have that time. You know, and had I graduated early and not had that time with him, I would have wished I'd had more time with him. He was a phenomenal person. Yeah, and, you know, a lot of people are like, how does that swap? But it really does intersect. There's a lot of the same behaviors, motives. We have a lot of the same drives instilled within us that any mammal would have. And so that's why I'm so good at, everybody's always like body language and motivation and behavior. And that's why I'm so good. I've literally learned from the animal side to the human side. And that's why a lot of my analogies are animal related or livestock related. Because I can see the behavior and I understand how it spans across all the species. And I just try to dumb it down to put it in its most understandable format. So, but I learned a lot from animals. I learned way more from animals than I have from people, because animals, unlike people, do not really hide their motivation. They're very forthcoming with their information. You can see it written all over their body behavior, the way they breathe, the way they switch their tail, the way they cock their head and look at you, and they tell you exactly what they're going through. People try to hide it. So if I had to worry about an animal attacking me or a human attacking me, I would rather deal with the animal, because I would see that one coming. The human, you may not. So I can read animals, but because I read animals well, I have picked up on a lot of human behavior that a lot of people don't pick up on. So, only took me losing 4 front teeth. That bull head-butted me. Oh, that was fun times. No, it wasn't. My mother is still upset about that. I am 45 years old and my mother is still upset about me losing my 4 front teeth when I got head-butted. She's still upset about that. I get tickled with my mama. She gets stuck on those things. And we had a good laugh about that the other day, though. Oh, Lord. But I'm going to be spending time with her after her surgery. She's having a full knee replacement, and they may clean up some issues with her hip as well. And I'm going to be spending a lot of time with her. Granny has had to go back into a care facility, but we put her in a very good one down the hill. Very nice. She has a semi-private room. They're wonderful. It's like the best of the best, the creme de la creme staff. And we're very comfortable. We've had another family member that was there until she passed. We're very comfortable with that establishment. So Granny's there until Mom gets healed. And so we're also trying to go down the hill and check on Granny as we can. And so I'm going to try to do the rounds. I'm going to stay probably half the week with Mom and then come back and make David's meals and put them in the freezer and then go back down. So me and Oscar will be at Nana and Pa's most of June. So me and Oscar travel. But it's about a half hour down the mountain, and it's 1-lane road in and out. And I don't want to travel up and down the mountain. That's too hard on me. So I'm just going to pack an overnight bag and stay a couple, 3 days at a time and kind of tag team it with Dad and the nurses. And until she gets very stable in her movements, and everything is right there on the same level that she needs, but until she gets good at maneuvering it, I'm gonna hang with her and just make sure she's not alone, because Dad's with her a lot, but he also has to check the fences and check the cattle and has to go to town for grain and stuff. So I'm going to try to do as much as I can. And of course Mom's like, don't throw yourself into flare, but if I go and stay, I will just kind of take it in spurts like I do here and rest otherwise. So I'll just keep my schedule just down there and check on her and get her to the bathroom and stuff. And, and it's, I rest just as well down there, and I enjoy being down there. So it's not a hardship. I just don't want her to be alone very much for the first few weeks while she's getting her stability back in that leg. So. Oh, thank you, Leva Cats. I appreciate that. Oh, yeah, my daughter is doing that right now, but she's got her paperwork in to find a spot to finish the medical side of things. She's very driven. So she graduated with 4.0 at UT of Knoxville. So she's very driven, and so I know she'll get through it. But she's just trying to kind of catch her stride and kind of establish herself in the area that she moved to when she married. So she seems to be doing really well. She's very happy. We send each other memes and funnies all day, so that's all we do. Tomorrow is Red Fred's birthday, and So he will be 25. And I sit here and I still feel like I'm 18 trying to looking at the world like it's going to eat me alive. And you just don't realize when you're getting older that your body may mature, but the way you look at the world, if you keep that, imagination, and you keep that hopeful outlook, you still feel like a kid. And I still feel like a kid in most situations. I've just gotten very good at creatively resolving issues that pop up financially. That's like the only skill set I have is like I can make money from nowhere if push comes to shove. And I think it's just because we live so close to disaster, we just get comfortable with it. But I'm still very much a kid myself. So to sit here and say my oldest is now turning 25 tomorrow, it's just like my mind's blown. Like it's just you don't anticipate that. And so he's turning 25, and then the next month my daughter will be turning 24. They were so close to being Irish twins, so close. Oh my gosh, I wouldn't recommend that. Don't do that, ladies. It's not good. I didn't think I was ever going to be able to stop buying diapers, and so many diapers. Oh my god. But it just blows my mind that I have kids that old, and I still feel like I'm trying to figure out the world, And I yesterday when I was cooking lunch for David, I said, "Well, I made it to 45." He forgot it was my birthday. My mom still hasn't remembered, but she's got a lot on her plate right now. I think it's funny. It doesn't bother me at all. And he said, "Oh, you did, didn't you?" So I'm sorry. I was like, "It's okay. It's been a wild couple of weeks. Don't worry about it." And I said, when I was like 12, 13 and Freddie passed away, he was 45 when he passed away. And I thought, that's a moderately long life. He had some good years in there. And now that I'm 45, I'm like, heck no, you're just getting, establishing a peace with the world and getting your groove established and looking at things in a healthy manner. And, you just can't, you finally slow down enough to enjoy life, but have enough drive to get to the next phase. But, take your knowledge instead of just, blasting into every problem. And now I'm like, he was not old. He had so much more to give. And now that I'm 45, I'm like, darn it. And of course, I lost my best friend of 30 something years last year when he was 45. So 45 is like this magical number in my realm. And I'm like, whew. Oh, and speaking of my friend that passed away last year, well, a year and a half ago, his brother, the stuff that he had bought off of my son that does chainsaw carvings and stuff like that, and because he always supported my kids' endeavors. He was a great uncle. Uncle Tater was the best. He was the best. And so the chainsaw carvings and stuff that he had bought off my kids that he had put on his patio and his porches, his brother, they just recently sold the home. His brother collected all of those and some trinkets from a whatnot shells my curio that his mom had before he had. He brought all the patio and porch stuff over the other day and gave to me. So everything that he bought to support my children, I now have on my porch. And it's just to look at it and go, he loved my kids. It's just, I'm gonna cry. And it's just like, and I didn't know that he bought some of this stuff. And I was like, he loved my children. And so I got those the other day, and I've got to go visit when I feel better and pick up the breakables so I can bring them back and put them in my curio. So I'm going to have stuff that he treasured from his mother. So I'll be the third person to get to love them. And they're older stuff. So I'm anxious to see what they've saved for me. They wanted to give me like furniture and everything. And I was like, I've got a tiny house. I don't need furniture. And they said, well, what do you want? And I said, well, I'm one of those people that when grandma passed away, I wanted her dish rags because I use them every day and I think of her. And I still have one floating around here. And I don't allow people to use it very often, but I like to use it sometimes. And it makes me think of grandma. And so his brother's like, I know exactly what to get you. So he went in the home and pulled out some of the trinkets and the whatnots and set them aside. So I'll go pick those up here in a week or two. Yeah. I thought that was very sweet of his brother because I was like, I'd rather have a plant or something, something that he loved that I can love for him now. And it made me think of him. So I thanked the brother. I said, that's perfect. That's exactly what I needed. So I get to pick those up here in a week or two when I feel better. And he's actually asked me to make him a one of those bags as well. So I'm going to make him one of those bags. So, but things are rolling forward and I'm 45. I hit the special number. It's kind of a scary number because I've lost so many important people at 45. And I'm like, don't you crap out, Elizabeth. If I do, it'd be okay. It's okay. I'm not gonna fuss with Jesus when he calls me home. I'm just gonna be like, okay, tap out. I'm done. Um, but Granny just turned 92 or 93, and I just, the women in my family have a tendency to live super long lives. But man, they have rough endings, and I'm just like, hey, no. And I'm just like, I looked at my mother and I was like, I have no desire to make it to 100. She's like, me either. And I'm like, okay, just so we've established that. But I'm not able to do a whole lot to help my mom. So for her surgery, it's a big deal to be there to help her during those, first couple weeks. So I don't want her to be alone. My grandmother had double knee surgery, double knee replacements, got through the rehabilitation center afterwards, got sent home, and about a week after she got home, she had a blood clot go to her lungs and it killed her. And so obviously knee replacement surgeries and in my family, we worry about that because we've lost family members due to that. And so I'm going to be there and make sure that Dad is still able to maintain the farm and I'm able to maintain Mom. And between the both of us, we'll gimp around and get done what we need to get done. We've got a lot of the stuff that she's going to need after the surgery available already. So we, got a good head start. And she's got a shower chair and potty chair and walker and everything I think that we're going to need. And I've got my rolly chair if she needs it. And I've even got one of those big sling carriers that we used when we moved Granny. So push come to shove, I'll get her where she's going. So, but I just want to be there and help take care of her because I've not been a super big help with Granny. And so this is a big moment for Mom, and I just want to be there. So, and I'm going to annoy her to death while I'm there too, because that's what I do. But I do make her smile and laugh a lot. So he's like, yeah, we need you here. Because it's going to be rough those first few days. So, and I have a tendency to, even when Mom is spitting mad, I can make her laugh. So that's where I come in. So it's going to be, a rough couple weeks. I told her, be prepared. You're not going to feel good the first couple weeks. But she's walked crooked for so many years now and put it off with Granny and stuff that she just got to the point where they said, if we don't do it now, your bones are not going to be good enough to do it. So she has to do it. And I'm hoping that it will improve her gait so that she walks better, so that her hip is not in the bind it's been in, because it's been deteriorating the hip because of the way she's sideways. So I'm hoping that will give her some ease. And of course I have to babysit Oliver as well, the 13, 14, however old he is, Chihuahua that hates me. So I will be the dog nanny. Yeah, I'm gonna try to keep her laughing and keep her mobile and keep her, seeing the sunshine every day, and just make sure that she doesn't feel isolated and forgotten, because that's rough. So, and she lives down at the end of the road in the holler. And so it's not an easy place for people to get to visit and help. So I'm just going to go down there and cook and clean and just do what I do at my home, just there, and take it in spurts. And annoy my father to death. Well, he can go to the basement to get away from me, so he can leave. Mother can't. She will be my prisoner. Oh, bless her heart. She's probably going, oh, God, right now. But if Mom ever wakes up in a bad mood, all you got to do is open windows and turn on bluegrass music. She's immediately happy. She's easy. Dad, when he gets older, I was like, I don't know how, if you live for a ripe old age, I don't know how we're going to maintain you, because my dad has always been even though he's crooked and bent and his bones are solidifying from where he shot horses for all those years and his body's had so much stress on it, he still gets up and goes. You're not going to be able to keep him anywhere. I literally have talked to people taxidermy the back end of a mule and put a harness on it and then paint the wall to make it look like it's plowing a furrow. And put him on a treadmill behind it, he'll probably walk all day. But if you try to sit him down and make him be still, he gonna run. He's gonna be one of those little men you lose in the community. He will run. So, and he will cause an uproar somewhere. So, I'm like, we're gonna have to get creative, And but he's still getting on his tractor and side by side and checking cattle and pulling calves and doctoring. But now he also still looks like he's in his 50s. He doesn't look 70. He looks like he's in his 50s. So, both of my parents aged very well, to be quite honest. I'm not so graceful, darn it. But both my parents aged very well. Not happening for me, but that's okay. Got a sense of humor, I can handle it. Oh, Lord. But that's what's coming up in my world. So, also, there's a Renaissance fair in Lewisburg, West Virginia that I found today. And if anybody goes to that, please let me know if it's fun, because it looks phenomenal. And I'm thinking about, if it looks really good and I get good feedback, I'm thinking about hitting that one next year, because it looks fun. I've never been to a Renaissance fair, but the pictures look fun and the list of things looks fun. And they're actually going to have bagpipers there, and I want to go see this. So that's on the possibilities list for next year. And then Gypsy and I are trying to find something kind of in our area to go and do that's like cost effective, and we can enjoy, but it's not going to bankrupt us, and that we can go and do and have a little mini vacation. So that will be coming up soon as well. I know it's not going to hit me well either with all the surgery stuff, but we'll get around it. But we'll find something. We've got a lot of options. We'll find something. It's not that bad. I may work out one of those dates with that possum lady. Not that possum lady, the Appalachia forager lady. I'll have to look at that again. But we'll find something, and we'll video it and share it with y'all. But lots going on. I'm getting back to health, feeling like a little turd again, so up to mischief, so I must be getting healthier. Still just a little sore, but that will work out over the next few weeks, I'm sure. And just got to try to get back to plumb. That's the goal. That's the goal. So if any of y'all hear something in the Tennessee, Kentucky, North Carolina area that sounds really awesome, share it, send it to me, message me, text me, email me, however you know how to get in touch with me. Let me know, because Gypsy and I are looking for something to do to have like a mini vacay and make some memories and have a fun summer. We've already seen each other a couple times since Christmas, but we want to do something like one major outing. And as soon as I can get healed and get the time slot right, I'll be going up to visit her. So lots of stuff coming. I'm going to get all this stuff done so that David has stuff for his vendor sale. And but we're moving forward again, people. My kidneys are functioning. My doctor's amazed, and I'm back at it. So we'll get back to normal. And tomorrow night, I have a birdhouse project I've been wanting to do. It depends on how my back does after sitting in this chair tonight. But I have a birdhouse project I've been wanting to do for me. I'm turning those little game bottles into little birdhouses for my little tiny red-breasted bluebirds, because I'm abnormal and like to do things like that. And I am too, Fang. It was bad there for a few days. I was concerned. And then I've got like 4 hats cut out to sew. I'm going to hand sew them most likely, because I'm just not able to take myself anywhere right now. But we're moving forward. So we'll be doing some crafting. And Ryan is on a really big, like, reflective, introspective thought mode. And I'm happy to see it, because it's great. And he's really trying to evaluate himself and his place in the world, and how he creates his place in the world, and the motivations behind his placement, and the grief that his placement can cause others. He's looking at all these things. He's doing good. I'm still watching him close, because he's got, if he can make it through Christmas without a huge hiccup, then most likely the cyclical behavior we were seeing with the big oopsies probably was created by stress from family members and their behavior. If we have another big ba-doom between here and Christmas, then he probably has some more work to do on himself. The next 6 months are going to be key for him understanding how he functions, how he gets through things, how he resolves things, and how he handles things emotionally, because now he doesn't have anyone in his life to blame it on. So I'm hoping that they were the culprits, and he won't have any of those big swings like we had been seeing. And I'm hoping we get through December and he's happy and healthy and doing great, and has made a lot of progress. And I think he's doing that because he's doing all the right introspective work correctly. And he's thinking, and he's talking to himself and having a dialogue with himself. People are like, oh, you're crazy. You don't know. You need to talk to your ego and address it, because you need to shut him up, because ego is dangerous. And he's doing that. So I'm anxious to see how the next 6 months treat him and how he does, because that's going to tell a lot of how well he is coping and what really was the problem. And I'm got my fingers crossed that that was the issue, and that he's going to kind of, and he'll still have hiccups and issues because he's young, but he's not going to have those big cyclical crashes like we had been seeing that were really getting horrendous. So I'm got my fingers crossed for the boy. I want him to do well. And Ripta is back at Ghost Ranch, and that is a big plus for Ryan because y'all know me, I'm a Ripta fan, and I said, why would you let him go? That boy's solid as an oak. Like, he ain't bending, he ain't moving, he ain't giving nobody any crap, he ain't taking none either. That's a good, solid person. Like, his body language is John Wayne straight at you. I ain't gonna lie, it is here, take it or leave it. And I'm so glad that Ripta is back on Ghost Ranch. That's a grounding effect on Ryan right there. Ripta is literally like a lightning rod for Ryan. He takes away the bad and allows that energy to go, but he absorbs a lot of the extra so that Ryan doesn't carry it away. And he's a grounding force for him. So I'm glad to see Ripta back on Ghost Ranch. I have been like, thank God you're back. Actually messaged Ripta today because he and Felicia found out they're having a girl, which is adorable. And so I messaged him because I like to hand sew, and I like to hand sew baby quilts. And when people have babies, I like to make baby quilts. They're easy to make, and it's nice to get something handmade for your child. And I really like Ripta. So I messaged him, like, hey, dude, do you want me to make you a baby quilt? So I'm waiting for a response. Normally it takes him a couple, 3 days to get back with me. So I'm waiting for a response. Now that we know it's a girl, we can start getting the theme together. As they kind of get their theme together, I can feed off of that and make the quilt. So I'm going to try to make a quilt. And I think we're all caught up now. So everybody go and tell Ripta thank you for coming back to Ghost Ranch and, being that grounding force and being that good friend that Ryan needs right now. That old soul that Ryan needs right now. And keep Felicia in your prayers. Keep Denise in your prayers. Gypsy's daughter has oral surgery tomorrow, so keep her in your thoughts and prayers. And a lot of us has got a lot of stuff going on this month, so just, shout out good, healthy vibes to everybody. Keep your momentum positive if at all possible. And let's remember, we also had that young girl, Haley, that was on our channel for a while, Haley Hopes, that had lost the family member. I've not heard from her since then. Make sure you're praying for her. She's been on my heart a lot lately, and I just can't forget. It's hard to go through stuff like that, so keep praying for her. Well, you could have come down here and you could have given me one of those bowls of ice cream, and then you would be done. Everybody remember Fang, and just kind of go through the little family unit we have here and toss up good vibes for everybody, because everybody's going through something right now. The world is such an unstable place. So just kind of keep everybody and just kind of emanate good energy. Send out a good little energy bump to everybody. And, if you see somebody struggling, step in and try to help them, talk to them. Just somebody asking if you're okay. That can do wonders for somebody, just knowing that somebody cared enough to ask. So keep everybody in your prayers. Make sure that we're being positive. And, we've had some people go rogue and negative lately, and it's sad. And a lot of people wanted to blame it on me because I was not there to police them. But I didn't take anyone to raise. And as much as I can role model good behavior, when I'm sick, I have to take care of me. If I don't take care of me, then I can't come back and try to help take care of you. I would just waste away. So I have to take breaks and take care of me, especially when I'm really, really sick. And unfortunately, since Christmas, I've had 2 big health issues to deal with. And I have to take care of me. And if you're someone that thinks silence is disrespect, then we're not going to be able to be friends, because I have a terminal issue, and there's certain times that I have to be quiet and take care of me. And if you're going to see that as disrespect or that I don't love you, if you need daily affirmations that I love you, then that's hard for someone that has a terminal disorder, because I have to kind of go with what my body says I need to do. So we had some people throw some big, nastiness at us this month, but it's just, that's what it's like to be disabled. I wish I could be a ray of sunshine 24/7 for everybody, but I can't. And when I get sick, I have to take care of me and my immediate family. And so I kind of withdrew from everybody, wasn't even making content, and kind of went bye-bye for a while because it was take care of me time. And I've had a lot that I've had to take care of between David's health, my health, and then this second bump in the road. And I don't feel bad about taking care of me. But, if you're going to befriend somebody that has a disorder and is disabled, understand, that it's going to be a roller coaster ride. And if you are somebody that needs daily affirmative contact, just forget it if you have a disabled friend. And because you will eventually, if you're somebody that needs that, you need to feed off somebody, you're going to realize that person that has a disability normally some days only has enough gas for half a person and has to pull back and not have any contact. But I've had some people get really upset with me because I was not able to be right there, right then, do everything, contact, talk, gossip, and it's just like I can't. What's more important when I'm ill? Me. I have to take care of me. We're adults. You're adult. I have to take care of me. And when you get sick, I expect you to take care of you. And I can miss people for 6 months and they pop back up. I'm just happy to see them. I don't care where you've been for 6 months. That's on you. I'm just happy to see you again. I realized it probably had nothing to do with me. I've got a big Miller in my house that just decided to go flying. But I realized it probably had nothing to do with me. It's just something you're going through. So I don't take it personal. But other people take it very personal. And, and I'm just like, if I see you again, it's like, hey, happy to see you. There's no animosity. But just understand that disabled people live on a very roller coaster ride. And sometimes they have to kind of shut the theme park down to do some maintenance. So it's not always going to be fun. Some days the park's going to be closed. So that's about the best way I can put that. So yeah, we take it one day at a time. Like me and Gypsy, I've been trying to get up to see her. She came to see me and visited for a couple days. I've been trying to go see her and I got sick. So we've had to postpone. And she knows I'll get there. It's just like trying to get her health, my health, and everything lined up. And she's very forgiving. She understands because she, her health is kind of like mine. So, but, I had some people that were not as forgiving, and that's okay. That's on them. It's their behavior. It's their way to plow through life. But I'm not going to be hanging onto your plow if you're plowing with that kind of agitation, because, I like for people to interact with me, and I miss people when they're not with me, but I don't fault them for taking care of themselves or taking breaks, because sanity is a real big thing. People seem so uptight. It's almost like they've been sprayed with something that's augmented their personalities. Surely that wouldn't happen, right? No. Surely not in this world, day and age. And I've been doing a lot of reading on the Edgewood experiments. We just plug along. That's what we do. We just plug along, and we're glad for good days, and we focus on us on bad days. And sadly, some people interpret that as what they shouldn't, but that's on them. I can't go into their brain and change the way they think. So it's up to them. If that's the person they want to be, that's the person they're going to be, and I can't do anything about it. But they will be that person without me, because I don't play that game. So if you can hold someone as guilty because they were near death and needed to take time to heal and go to the doctor and sleep, and I'm not okay with that. Like I'm the person to be like, do whatever you need to do for you, and I'll be here when you come back around. If you need me, yeah, but otherwise you take care of you. And I don't expect someone else to take care of me mentally, emotionally, physically. That's on me. And so when I meet people that require so much in addition, and then they react when I have to calm down and take care of me, I'm like, sorry, this is not going to work. It's not going to work. So it's sad, but it's just the way it is. It is weird. It's very weird. But, it's just like, it's just not necessary. It's such an ugly place to be at, to think that you're so important that someone who is dealing with a life or death issues to take time to call you to see how your day was. It's like, chill, take care of yourself, let them take care of themselves. And when they get back to a better place, maybe y'all can come back together and check up on each other. But it's like, it's not disrespectful. It's just necessary. It's just necessary, and it is what it is. But so people take everything to heart. I don't, but I will be very quick when I see those inappropriate behaviors or the inability to handle a friendship that has ups and downs with people that like me that have disabilities, then I'm just like, I'm done. I detach immediately because it's not going to get any better. If they felt disrespected because you were just silent, imagine how they're going to feel when you actually tell them, excuse me, I was sick. Because then you've made what they think is, some kind of horrible reason to justify your sickness. And how dare you? And they don't take time to know. For 3 days, my doctor was trying to find a antibiotic I could take that I could function on so they wouldn't have to hospitalize me, because if they hospitalize me and they put an IV in me, I'm going to swell. And if I swell, it's going to shut my kidneys down even more. They don't know what you're going through. They just know that they missed that serotonin, dopamine, endorphin rush. And it's just kind of like they needed a hit. And I'm like, no, okay, if I'm being used in that manner, I'm not going to be there. Just not. Yeah, I'm just not going to be there. That's very inappropriate. It's very immature. It's very childish. And it's very self-serving. And I just politely said, not going to play this game, and you don't have the power to dictate my world, and I have to live my world this way. And if you are that uncomfortable with it, then we're done. I mean, that's what it is. And it's sad to have to say that, but that's what it is. And, I don't feel bad about that at all, because, I have weeks at a time where I get very ill and very ill. I've had the, you're not going to make it through this most likely talk 3 times in my life now. And, I don't have time to worry about someone else's sphincter patrol parity in life when I'm actually dealing with life or death. So it's just like, I'm sorry. If a splinter is going to hurt you that much, imagine when the tube before that is my disorder pops up more than once in a year. It's not going to work. So gone. So that's where I've been. I've had to make some harsh decisions and make some quick judgment calls, and I've just not been able to linger and think about it because it would have had an impact on my health. I just made the decision to move forward, compartmentalized, and went on. Figured out I was dropping dead weight, and it wasn't going to be anything but positive from here on out, because it had been negative for the last few weeks, and it was just had to happen. So you just make that decision and you roll forward, and hopefully they will be able to find the people that can Velcro through them and get them through life. But it ain't going to be me. So I'm just not like that. I love yins, and I will spend every minute I can with yins, but I cannot ever promise that I'm always going to be there, because there will be days that I can't function and I have to take care of me. So it's just the way it is. It's just, it's like they go through life in this like parody land, and they don't understand it's a parody. It's not real life. It's a juxtaposed, very comical view of what real life should be, because it's all centered around them. And they are constantly mad all the time. Like, it's just like, you're mad all the time. Why are you mad all the time? Well, okay, well, if those environments make you mad, why do you keep going back to those environments? Okay, it's like a drama, endorphin, serotonin dump. And it's like, something, you can get serotonin in much healthier ways. You really can. You really, really can. And you should try to find the healthiest way to keep your dopamine, serotonin levels up, rather than inappropriate, that cause people harm. And I'm just not going to play that game. And y'all know me. I would rather have no relationship as an unhealthy one. And I can tolerate absence way better than I can tolerate disrespect. Those are 2 rules that I live by. And if you have to make me make that decision, I will make the one I need to make. And I'll make it immediately, and I will not feel bad about it at all. So, I've had to grow a lot since I got my disability and my diagnosis. And I've had to make a lot of big life decisions. And since I've had these life decisions thrown at me and have had to handle death at a much younger age than I thought I would, it puts things in perspective. And I ain't worried about who said what, who said who, and who called who what. I don't care. Unless you're going to stand right here and tell it to my face, I don't care. And a lot of people just kind of try to get this drama going on Facebook, on YouTube, on Instagram. Just try to keep this drama going. And I'm like, why? When we can be positive people for each other and really enjoy each other and learn from each other, why would you always go dark? Why would you always choose the drama? Why would you? And I'm just like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And so it's just something that I have to do from time to time. Yeah, be loving about don't say, you've not talked to me and I'm irritated. You've not talked to me and you're not spending any time on me. And I'm like, near death. I've been near death. My husband's been very sick, been rough around here. We've had a lot of problems to deal with. And I told you, like, I sent text with check in and be like, we're still struggling. Maybe, here in another week or so, I'll have time to check in. We're still struggling, still handling this. I'd sent updates because I didn't want them to think I'd forgotten completely. I hadn't. I was just so busy. I couldn't, I withdrew from all but 2 people. That's family and all. And it was frustrating to have them feel that way. Because when my friends disappear, I'm like, well, they must be enjoying life. Well, they'll tell me about it when they come back. Okay. And I just do my own thing. Because I don't think about other people's lives. Like, I don't think about other people's lives like I need them to help me get through the day. No, I don't. I get me through the day. You're a sprinkle of sunshine in my world. If you visit me, if you talk to me, that's great. But I don't need you to get through the day. You're icing on the cake, but the cake bread's pretty good too. It's just like people are a bonus. And I can't be a tool you use, especially if you use me inappropriately. I'm just not going to do that. So and you're not going to make me feel bad for being sick, because that's just going to make me sick again. So, I'm not hauling around dead weight. I'm not hauling around somebody that's going to pull me down. I'm not going to haul around somebody that's going to put a burden upon me that's not factual, that is completely fiction, that they are completely drumming up. And I'm not going to be somebody's YouTube bait. And it's just like, and it's sad because I watched this person go through many drama moments with many channels, many people. And they always end up in drama. And I was trying to be that one person that did not end up in drama with them, trying to role model how to handle things healthier and think about where they put their energy. And the moment that I had to withdraw kind of the guiding light that I was and take care of me, they went dark. It's like literally in 15, 16 days, you go dark. So it's just like, I can't, I've got too much on me. I can't, I've got too much health-wise on me. I can't. And if you're going to come back and be abrasive at me because I was just sick, you've not learned what abrasive can be until you've really irritated me, because I'm cold. Once I know I'm done, I'm done. And as soon as I see something that unhealthy, no, you can't come back from that. You cannot come back from that. Stop with ultimatums. Stop with blaming everything on someone else, because you can't come back from that, because you've tried to make that person the alpha and omega of your world. I'm sorry. I'm not Jesus. I'm not God. And it's just like, be responsible for yourself. Take care of yourself. Put yourself in good situations. Find good energy. And don't be a butthole. And if you are a butthole, expect for it to come right back at you. Reciprocity is a good word to learn. Gypsy is, she's tougher than a pine knot. Gypsy has a very interesting story, a very interesting health story. Of course, I can't tell it for her. That's hers to tell. But she's tougher than a pine knot. And she's gone through so much. And she's been like a source of strength for me. And Denise has too. Denise is an amazing person. And she's gone above and beyond for her family, in every capacity. And I've met so many strong people that have such positive life stories and life endeavors. And it's just, but every once in a while, want to sneak in. It's not positive. We just have to handle it and go on. And I don't wish them ill will. I hope they find a better way to be, because it's not working. And if you keep going back to these old coping skills and these old drama chemical dumps to get your, fixation for your dopamine, you're just snowball going down the hill, getting bigger. It's not healthy. Yeah, Faye, it's like, I've been sending updates and checking in and, hey, this is where I'm at, still super busy running doctors and taking care of Dave and doing this. And I just, I'm just not able to have the chats and phone calls and make content. I'm just too busy with real crap right now. And was trying to send updates, at least every 10 days to let them know I'm still kicking. I'm still, and because I didn't want them to feel like I had just completely, forgotten. I hadn't. I just was not able. I was not capable of everything I was handling. And to have them turn around and basically tell me, give me an ultimatum that I was either to be on them like white on rice or I was not their friend. I'm sorry. I'm 45. I'm not your caretaker. I'm not your nanny. I'm not your mama. I'm not freaking Buddha. You got to make some decisions on your own to take care of yourself. And there will be times I have to disappear and take care of me. And mutual respect, you go do you and I'll go do me. And if I don't see you for 6 months and you pop up, I'm going to be happy to see you. I'm not going to hold you accountable and tell you that you ruined my life. You caused me problems or I didn't have you and I needed you. No, I'm an adult. I will take care of me. If you don't have the skills to take care of you, then you got a problem. If you're, pushing my age and you don't have skills, you need to be talking to somebody professionally licensed that's in an office. And it's just frustrating, that people will put their burdens upon you and act like you're the gas in their tank. No one else should be the gas in your tank. That's between you and Jesus and the way you feel your day. And you're responsible for that gas in your tank, not somebody else. Nobody else can ruin your life. That's you. Especially someone you've never physically met. No, that's you. So, and it's just, I was just a place for the blame to be laid because apparently there was drama going on, and I think they were just upset, and I was a place for the blame to be laid in a nice little scapegoat, and I think that's what it turned into. And it's sad because this person could be so much more than what they're letting themselves be in this dynamic that they're putting themselves in. But until they believe it, it won't happen. So it doesn't matter how long I were to push that car uphill. If they didn't believe that they could push the gas pedal, they were never going anywhere anyway. It's one thing I learned counseling people. Until they believe it, it ain't true. So, yeah, Denise, that's a big one right there. Yeah, that's a big one. I can't do that, and I'm responsible for me. And it's very important that we try to raise the next generation to be responsible for themselves, because that's what we're lacking in this nation is responsibility, accountability for adults to be themselves. And adults at 18 and 21, not adults finally heading into it at 36. By the time you're 36, you're middle-aged. Shut up, back up. You should have been an adult at 18. Take care of yourself, be an adult, grow up, deal with the world. And it's just, Jesus and gas station burritos. Just struck me odd. Oh my gosh. It just struck me odd in so many ways. Yeah. And that can be a bad combination. I'm sorry. I just had a horrible mental picture that just struck me odd. I'm sorry. That just got me. Oh, Denise, you know what I'm talking about then. Okay, yeah. Because we've not talked, but I know you're picking up on it. Because I've really tried. I've really tried. And it wasn't working. The draw of the drama was too much. It was, they were not going to be happy with a calm life, with a rational life, with a low-key life. There has to be drama and aggression somewhere. And it's just like, why? Why? Because when you've had a doctor talk to you and say, I don't think you're going to pull through this, call your family, you realize that drama is stupid. It's so stupid. Animosity and belligerence and hatred of others does nothing for you when you're laying there and fixing to go meet your maker. There is no positive side to that. There's only you sitting there wishing you had made better decisions to not end up there, because that's the legacy you leave. Is everywhere you go, it turns into a sphincter police hemorrhoid commercial. And that's just not the way I want to live life. So it's just like, that's not who I'm going to be. Yeah, I'm made peace with everything a long time ago. After that injury that started changing the way I looked at the world, I've made peace with a lot of things that I think most people don't make peace with till they're in their 60s or 70s. And so I had to grow up a lot, and I had to think way beyond my years. And as much as I hate that I had to do that for my health, I'm actually happy that it gave me the perspective it did. Now, not to say that I make everybody happy when I talk to them, because I won't sugarcoat nothing, and we'll have some coming to Jesus's and some truth talks, and it hurts. But everything I do is try to benefit someone else. So if you have a conversation with me, I want you to learn something about yourself, or learn something that's going to help you maneuver through society. Or I want you to walk away from me with be able to breathe a bigger sigh of relief about the world you live in, as opposed to have a new fear about the society and the world you live in. And, and grow and change and learn. And if you're stagnant and you're in the same behavior over and over again, you're not growing, you're not learning. What are you doing? If you're on this earth for that many years, you're not growing and learning. What are you doing? Get your head out of somebody's hind end and grow and learn. That's what you're here for. Yeah, Denise, I picked up on it. Same, like same. And I've seen it about 4 times, and it needed to be discussed, and that was going to be one of the things I was going to discuss. And then I got the punch pulled on me, and I was like, well, listen, I'm going to save my coming to Jesus meeting for somebody that actually wants to come to Jesus. So I just walked away from it. When you realize there's nothing you can do but stand there and wring your hands and feel sorry for someone, you are then part of the problem. Walk away. Because the less people they have surround watching the crash, the less likely they are to blame it on someone else, or the less likely they are to think that it helped someone else. Like their life was someone else's sustenance. You fed off my drama. No, I don't want to feed off your drama, and I don't want to be part of it. I'm over here. I'm leaving. Don't stand there and watch them crash and burn, because they'll either take comfort in that, or they'll think they need to do it again because they had an audience. Unless no, we don't. Yeah, Fang. Yep, that's exactly right. It puts you in a completely different mind state, and you start to see life as a bigger path instead of the little milestones that you were once measuring it with. You see the whole path. God, word carries so many possibilities. Well, listen, so does Jesus and gas station burritos. But yeah, you change. It's like it's just, I don't know, the world. You see a bigger picture, but a smaller world. Like the screen gets bigger, but the world shrinks, and you understand more. Yeah, that's exactly how I get it. Yeah, and I'm just not one to put my energy in a bad place. And I've really been trying. I've really been trying. To the point of sending stuff for Christmas presents, sending medicine for pets, and I'm really tried. And none of that was good enough because I wasn't at their beck and call. And it's like, how do you measure the worth of a friend? It's a really big question. Go make a list on how you measure the worth of a friend. You'll answer a lot of your own questions when you start doing how you measure the worth of a friend. Because you will really see what you're honed in on, and you'll see where you're putting some very bad fixations, and it'll make you fix a lot. I just want to be happy and make happy people and have happy times and be a positive, and yeah, you have to have serious conversations and stuff sometimes, but you don't have to make everything drama. You don't have to make everything a battle. Life, friendships should be a river flowing the same way with tributaries that join from time to time. And yeah, some of them leave as well, but the flow together while you're together should be an easy one. It should be amicable, and not everyone is meant to be in your life the whole time. Some people are just meant to teach you a lesson and go on. Don't get mad about that. Learn your lesson so that the next time you find somebody like that that's precious, you don't have to learn the lesson again. So, it's just, flow with life and be more receptive to its changes, and understand that, you might be a creek, but, we all flow into the river, and we all have to share this world, and we all have to get along. And, I'm not the most important person on the planet. I told one of those teens at camp when she had woke everybody up before dawn, and I had to hike in at dawn to deal with her behavior. And I just sat there and let her go off, and I just looked at my watch and keep talking. I just drank my coffee. I hiked in like a mile, drank my coffee, and listened to her and watched my watch and sip my coffee while she just went on and 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 on. She was from a very rich, spoiled family. She was very spoiled. She thought everything was about her. And I just sat there with her, and I said, just get it out now while I'm here. because that's why I'm here, to handle all this. Just get it out now. She just kept going. I mean, like 20-something minutes, she just kept going. Finally, she said, well, what do you have to say? I said, sun's up. She said, yeah, I know. I said, did you shit it out? Do you need hemorrhoid cream? Are you okay? Do you feel better? She's like, what? And I said, you think you're real important. I said, I figured that's why I had to be here. It was such, you made that happen, right? No, I didn't make that happen. I said, well, you're acting like it. I said, you're acting like that sun couldn't come up unless you told it could. You're acting like these other people can't go about their day unless you tell them they can. You're acting like I can't have a normal day and visit all the groups. I have to stay with you because you want to have a problem. I said, everything's about you. I said, do you know how many people there are on this globe? I said, how important are you? And I was like, because right now, you're important to people because they love you, but your behavior is such that they can't have you in their home. They had to send you to a juvenile facility. I'm trying to find the happy medium to where you can function at home, still have a little bit of spunk, to get through the world, but understand that you got to blend with the rest of the world, to get through this. We need each other. I said, it's not always about you. And I said, so are we just your new family that you're going to abuse because you have to be the most important person? I said, is this a repetitive thing? And I said, if you made that happen, kudos. But I'm pretty sure it would happen whether you and I were here or not. And I said, I'm pretty sure that if you weren't throwing this fit, those other campers would have already been at their education meetings with their teachers, taking their tests, doing their skill sets. I said, we've had to stop the whole day because you have a problem. I said, so when do you give this much attention and this much care to those people? Because if you get it, it's only fair that they get it, right? And she sat there, and I was like, so you've been here 4 weeks. And I said, how many times have you sat down and actually helped one of your campmates through a problem? Nothing. I said, how many problems have you had? I said, well, wait. I pulled up my little like tablet, that little spiral flap, like an autograph book. And I was like, oh, look, on this date, you had this problem. Because I had to document everything. And I was like, so we've had 7 issues with you that have stopped your group from doing anything like for 4 or more hours a day to handle your issues. I said, but when I look in my space for your other group mates that, have they had problems, I'm not getting any other problems because you've monopolized the problems. I said, so are you growing? Because we're still having the same problem. I said, but they're not allowed to have any problems right now because you're using all the problem time. I said, you need to talk to your campmates. And I said, we need to work out a schedule or something. I said, because they have to process some crap while they're here too. I said, we can't all sit here and it can't be your time all the time. I said, so did you get up this morning to crap out the sun? No. I said, okay, so we've established the world's going on. No matter what mood you're in, the world's going on, right? She goes, well, yeah. I said, okay, well, we've got to be at education in 10 minutes or they're not going to get their test done today. So you're going to have to think about what you just told me and why you wanted to tell it to me. We'll pick it up later. I said, because I need to take care of these other girls. And I said, maybe you do too. And she sat all day and realized she was quiet because she was thinking internally. And she sat all day and she watched other people just happy to be able to get through and meet each, because they had little stations they had to go through each day. And they have to have their education credits or they can't graduate. And they, and there are things they have to do there. And when someone has a problem, it gets held up and they can't do them. And she watched her campmates be so happy to get through a day without a huge hiccup again. And she realized, oh my God, I'm causing these people grief. And I'm not thinking anything of it because it's centered on me. But if they were doing this to me, I would be so upset. And she finally had an aha moment. And she finally started making friends then. And she finally started being, having a return on investment with her friendships. And it changed her whole perspective. And when she did her graduation speech, she said, they always ask the most important thing they learned at camp. And because we were basically a juvenile wilderness prison facility. And when she was graduating her speech, she said, the most important thing I learned while I was here is that I don't get up every morning to crap out the sun, so I don't get to dictate the world. And I was like, I won one. So, and I try to keep that mindset. That's why I don't want my channel to be super big. I'd rather have quality over quantity. I don't want to have beefs with people because I don't want to be a speed bump in their world. I would rather be a stepping stone. I don't want to be a hindrance. I would rather be a help. And it's just the way that the path that you try to tread and the way that you try to interact with people says a lot about what you think about yourself. And if you don't think you're worthy of attention without an argument, then who would want to have your attention if it always comes with an argument? You're going to put yourself in a really bad group of people, because you're going to also find people that like arguments. And you're going to have a world full of arguments. You're going to have a lot full of hate, animosity. Think about where you put your energy and what it creates and what it attracts, because that's what you're going to be steeped in. And I feel bad that this person is stuck in this. She's stuck in a tar pit, but I can't wade in and dirty myself to drag her out. I've done all that work. I'm not going to go backwards, and I can't, with my health, emotionally drag myself down to painstakingly walk her through this. I wish I could, but I can't. And sadly, I have to, in the day, go, that's an adult. It's an adult making bad decisions. And I have to walk away because that adult is allowed to make bad decisions. And I'm obviously not making a good impact or prompting change. So time for me to exit. I'm not being the change I want to see. I'm going to leave. So that's all I can do. Yeah, life is short. We're not promised tomorrow. You better do your work today, and you better be proud of what you do today, and you better be ready to answer for it, because you may be called on the carpet at any moment. And I've not done everything great, perfect, but I certainly think more about how I impact others than I used to. And some people don't like my honesty. Some people don't like that I question things. Some people don't like that, I have true concerns and I'm not scared to address them. And those are the people that normally run screaming from me, but that's okay. That's not my clan. That's not my group. It's not my tribe. It's not my purse. So I try to find those people, and I try to literally find people that are more positive than negative, or try to find people that expand my horizons more so than limit them. And that can be difficult to do. That can be really difficult, especially in today's world. That can be very difficult to do. Yeah, Fane, that's very important to me too. And I read a book when I was like 20. It was from Irma Bombeck, and she was like a writer back in the 60s. She was like the phenomenal housewife that went to writer and famous, and but still was very grounded. And she said that her goal for life was, when she met the Lord, stand in front of him and say, I used every talent you gave me. Yeah, she was good. She made me cackle every time I read a book. And that's my goal too, is I want to be able to use every skill that he gave me. So when he reads off the list of all the things he blessed me with, I'm like, I did that. I used that. I got that one in there too. And I want to see if I find all the little treasures he laid within me for others. I really want to, I look at life kind of like an Easter egg hunt. I find treasures in other people, and I'm hoping that I'm, hiding little treasures in their world that they'll find, sometime along the way too. So that's kind of how I look at things. And, drama and animosity is not a treasure. But that's where I am. Gosh, we've talked forever. I feel better. This is like a catch-up brain vomit session. Crafting, either tomorrow or the next night. Tomorrow's Friday. I don't know if David's working this weekend or not. His schedule's been so weird. He wants to do a couples check-in because he knows it's been forever and y'all have been super worried about us. It's just his schedule has not been just conducive to that, but we're going to try for that in the next couple weekends. If he has this weekend off, we'll try to do it Sunday. Aw, Gypsy, I love you. There'll be days that I'll be a rotten egg too, but I try to be more positive than negative. I can be a turd at times too, and sometimes life gets me, but I normally perk back up and get realigned. But yeah, y'all are a great family for me. I really love you. And I know we've lost some people with me not being on as much, but we'll try to get the momentum built back up as I'm doing well and get back to crafting. And I've got my little crafting area. It looks like a storm went through right now, but I've got it set up so I can tip the thing down, and I've got an elevated platform here so you can watch my hands more clearly. So as I'm doing some other crafts over the next couple weeks, you'll be able to watch them a little bit more clearly. And yeah, so the next thing is probably going to be Kim's birthday present that we put together, and some fur bags and some hats. And we'll take it from there. But I'm doing better. I'm alive. I'm not going to complain because I'm still kicking. It's rough days, but rough days make you appreciate the good ones. So I've really appreciated the last couple of days where I felt better. And I jumped on Dave. I'm like, well, I didn't jump. I can't jump. But I tackled Dave today. He was sitting on the couch, and he was sitting in the corner of the couch, and I knew if I got him wedged, he couldn't get away from me. And I jumped on Dave and just peppered him with kisses today, and he was just like, so I know I'm feeling better because I'm annoying my husband. And he has made sure to, like, if I wanted to get out and toddle around on the days I wasn't feeling good, he's made sure to hang on to me and get me out in the sunshine. And so I owe him a lot, and I'm feeling better. And he's wanting to visit and say howdy, and we'll try to do that if he's off this weekend. And we'll get back to normal. That's all we can do is just try to get back to normal. Look at my loud shirt. This is like an Indian motif shirt. It's loud. I love it. People see me coming a mile away. But I do have some different weird stuff that I'm going to be doing over the next, trying some new crafts, trying some new decor pieces to put in the vendor sales with David to see what people think about him. I don't have a lot of energy, so when I make something, I really like to see the feedback I get from it. And so I'm anxious to send this with him and see what people say about it. I've got to paint the other, where I've had it propped up, I painted all but the bottom lip. I've got to flip it over and paint that, and then kind of finish out. It's got 2 coats on it, but I've got to finish smooth a couple spots out. And as I Mod Podge and assemble that, I may do videos and put it together for y'all. But I think it's going to be really cute. It's probably not going to be everybody's thing. I think it's going to be cute, so I'm going to see what it does and what it looks like. And the more I have to be still, the more dream catchers and stuff I'm going to weave and let David put on Etsy, because he's fixing to open the Etsy store back up. So he is a good fella. He's a good man. So probably this weekend or first next week, the Etsy store will probably pop back up. And I know he's got a bobcat hat, some raccoon hats, maybe a coyote hat. And I may put a bag or 2 on there as I get them done. So Etsy's going to come back, probably going to have limited listings because he's got the vendor sales going on. But we're going to try to put some of our trademark stuff up there so that people can go and purchase them if they want to. So, and that's where we're at. Next time I go to Jan's to finish the beaver bag, I'll see if she will let me film a little bit there. She's amazing. She's got the whole upper loft of her cabin is just nothing but a craft station. It's like 5 different craft stations. I love it. The woman's amazing. I'm just trying to soak up all the knowledge I can from her. I only get to see her for like once every week or 2 weeks, but I get to spend about 4 or 5 hours with her when I see her. And I just try to learn because she's smart. I've learned so much already. So we've got a lot of growth in the purse and the bags to do as I learn more. So we're going to be learning tricks and hacks and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting next few weeks because I'm expanding what I'm learning to do. So bear with me. And I'm also going to be doing my political funnies. I really want to get all the times that Caitlin Collins interrupted Trump on that town hall. And when I watched that, I was so annoyed by her. And it's because I was getting sick, but I didn't know that at the end. But I was so annoyed. It was like, her voice was nails on a chalkboard. I was like, and every time she would start talking back, it reminded me of like a French bulldog or a husky that sasses you back. And so I want to like get all the times she interrupted Trump and then follow it with one of the little French bulldogs going, or something annoying, and make a little video motif of it. That may be a day that I feel good that I need to sit down and be bored, but I laughed that whole town hall because she was just like a toddler going, but mama, but mama, but mama, but mama. And you could like see Trump putting his hand on her forehead, pushing away, going, I'm busy, child. So, but I've been thinking about that for a while too. Mr. Reagan did a really good one that did all the interruptions. He took all the interruptions, divided it by the time that they were on. She interrupted him every like 28 to 32 seconds. It's supposed to be a town hall where he speaks to people. I was just laughing. And then Ron DeSantis has got the whole world in an uproar. It's hilarious. Most lackluster presidential running release. It was just like he's gonna. And he was like, he had like no. There was nothing in his voice that said, "I'm going to take care of these problems. I'm excited to be your president." It was very, and it was just like, Ron, And so there's a lot going on politically that I find hilarious on all sides. Target's got its button to bind now. I find that hilarious. Bud Light, hey, repercussions. Hey, consequences rarely come lubricated. Okay, now when I have my bonus kids, when they get into their adult years, that's something I tell them. And matter of fact, because Jonah is now singing in a band and he has a lot more opportunities to be a turd, and I remind him, don't. If you see somebody else doing this, don't. You're at this age, you have to be careful. And so I'm like, I'm mama him the boy to death. I know I do. And I always make him tell me, now tell me what before you go to this big show and have all these people think you're a rock god. Tell me what consequences rarely become lubricated. I know, mama, if I do something stupid, it's gonna hurt. And I'm like, good. Remember that always. And so that's kind of what I've been drilling into him lately. And as a matter of fact, I'll just kind of point my fingers. The consequences rarely come lubricated. I'm like, thank you. But he's getting to sing and getting his voice out there. I'm very proud of him. But he's in that age gap where you have to be so careful about your decisions and where you put yourself and what you do. And so just toss up prayers for him too, because I know he's meant to sing, and I know he's meant to be, somebody that people go to see. He's going to razzle and dazzle them all. He's so talented. I just want him to be that person without the consequences that most of the people have to go through to get there. That's my prayer. So toss up prayers for my bonus child. And consequences rarely come lubricated. So that's a big one for most people to learn. And if they do, then have you really learned your lesson? If it doesn't hurt, have you really learned your lesson? Probably not. It's not going to last. That's why Jesus helped us make electric fences. Barbed wire wasn't hard enough. We needed our butt zapped to stay where we needed to be. It's just, you have to look at things in a comical way like that, but it's very true. You have to be so careful where you put yourself and what you allow yourself to be part of and what you do, because the consequences are going to hurt. And learning lessons hurts, but some of them hurt more than others. And some you should be able to skip if you keep it in mind that that's going to cause pain. You should be able to have the judgment to skip it completely. So that's what I'm hoping. I'm hoping I've saved him some big issues. But I had a good birthday yesterday. I had lots of birthday wishes. Gosh, there's so many on Facebook. I still can't read them all. It won't load them all. I'm still finding new ones every time I get on Facebook. And the first one I woke up to, but he's ahead of us in time zones, was Phoebe. Sent me a happy birthday message. But he's in Prague, so he's started the day earlier than everybody else. But it was nice to get so many well wishes and birthday wishes, and it was nice to feel better. And yesterday I really knew I had this licked and I was on the downhill slide. Oh, thank you, Fang. And so I feel better now because I know I've got this licked. So after I get off the antibiotic, if I do 2 or 3 days and my body doesn't go backwards, I'm good. So I just got to watch myself the next couple, 3 days, through the weekend probably, and then I should be good. And just moving forward, and try to have as much happiness and smiles and memories until I have the next flare and health issue. And that's how I take it. It's how I have to go. So that's where we're going. Prague, yeah. The Czech Republic, yeah, he lives in Prague. Phoebe, you know who I'm talking about. I have to pinch myself sometimes when he messages me and calls me and stuff, because I'm like, that's the man that took care of Freddie Mercury for 12 years. He's spending time on me. And I never talked to him about Queen. I never talked to him about Freddie. We talk about life and each other and stupidity and silliness and laughs. And I think that's why he enjoys me so much, is I don't grill him for information on Freddie. I figure if he has to do those talks all around the world, that's probably the last thing he wants to continue talking about. And honestly, I can go watch all those talks on YouTube if I want to. But honestly, he's such a sweet soul and such a kind, warm, generous person. He's just wonderful. I think he's like, I told him, I said, I know Freddie's important and he changed the world. But I said, you are, for me, the star of the show because you took care of someone so well. And Freddie was a star, but he did not have all the skills he needed to really take care of himself. That shows in a lot of his behaviors and a lot of his decision-making skills that were not the best. Doesn't mean I love him any less or I, don't respect him. It just, it's truth. But to see the person that really stayed there with him till his last breath, and loved him and devoted his time to him, and loved him like they were family. And that is a true heart of service. I'm sure he was being paid well, but he what he did out of love and service to another human. And once you meet him and talk to him, that. And I'm just blessed to know somebody that has such a heart. And so I think he's just a remarkable person. And we like to irritate each other and talk about funny stuff and make each other laugh and send funnies. And I'm blessed to know him. And he's just a really wonderful person. So, but yeah, I liked my birthday message from Phoebe. He was sweet. He's been a big positive push in my life for the last several years, and I'm blessed to know him. Seven, almost 8 years we've been friends now. He's a very nice man. Very sweet, very caring. We'll call you at 9 a.m. because it's like 11 p.m. there. It's okay. I'll deal with that. But he's a wonderful person. So if you've not ever learned of him, you can go to Peter Freestone, or it's Peter Freestone Official on Instagram, I think, and you can follow him and get to know him and listen to his talks about Freddie and all the programs. He's got a lot of AIDS awareness programs and awareness educational things that he funds and speaks at and teaches and stuff. He's a very positive force in the world, and he normally spends most of his time with impoverished people that are struggling with AIDS. So he's a very sweet. Okay, well, I'm going to leave you there. Go check out Peter Freestone Official on Instagram, or go check out Peter Freestone on YouTube here and watch his. He's got a new book out also, and he has a recipe book with all the recipes that Freddie liked for him to cook. They're awesome. You have to convert them if you're like me and use cups and stuff. You don't use the metric that they use over there, but it's easy. That's what Google's for. And all the recipes are really not that hard, but they're really tasty and really kind of fancy. So I enjoy making them when I have time. Sweet man, needs your support. Thank you so much for joining with me. I appreciate all your time. Y'all have a good night. Let's come back and craft tomorrow, Saturday, and then I'll try to get David here to say howdy. So Oscar's won, and he's got to go potty, so I'm going to let my dog out, and I will see y'all most likely tomorrow. Be good. Be good to each other. Be good to yourself. Night, guys.